not who the people are.
Correct.
Okay, cool. Yeah, hopefully we'll have some...
We are now live.
Okay. All right, I'm going to go set up the comments. Okay.
Comments, yes. Okay. We're recording the screen just as a fucking death Hail Mary backup. We have 3 people on us. So is that us?
Probably you and me and someone else. Are you rocking your special glass?
I am.
Hell yeah. Got mine too.
So I thought maybe we should, I'm trying to think like the dramatics of the whole thing. Maybe we should give away the small prizes in the beginning and kind of big up the category prizes instead of doing the reverse. Does that make sense?
Hey. That sounds it sounds okay. I'd like to give away, maybe we can, I don't know how long Michael's going to be on or not. Hey, Letty.
Yeah. Should we just do a good old-fashioned countdown then?
What kind of countdown?
I don't know. I have our theme song in here.
Oh, yeah?
Should we play it?
Yeah, if you want to. That sounds great.
Right when it hits 7 o'clock, I'm going to hit play.
Okay, awesome. Hey, Jason.
This is exciting.
Yeah. Thanks again for your help on our test, Jason.
Yes, thanks everyone. All right. So I played with some of them. Well, this is exciting.
This is
Is
exciting.
the last time we were going to play this song.
The moon is a thing of beauty, but to this man it is a deadly curse. When the moon is full, this miserable wretch turns into a hairy, snarling half-man, half-beast. Prowls the night.
Hey, Tony.
His fangs
Hey, Tony.
thirsty for human blood. He is a werewolf.
All right. Hello. Welcome to the Werewolf by Night podcast. This is the podcast where we talk about Marvel's #1 lycanthrope, Jack Russell. He's the beast. He's the demon of Wondagore. He's Russell Jackson. Who else is he?
He's
furry one?
Yeah, the furry one. You already said Russell Jackson, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What was the last one?
Demon of Wondagore was the newest.
Demon of Wondagore was the newest. Okay.
Newest
gotcha.
appellation that was added.
That's right. Hey, Jason.
Yeah, thanks, Letty. I am too. And this is something that we have not talked of outside of between the two of us, but for the Bronze Age Monsters theme song, it will be changing every season. And Jacob and I are going to be trading them off because we're both musicians who love writing music. So I've been kind of hogging, since I'm the editor, I just used all of my music I've never used for anything else. And so Jacob's like, hey, I can write songs too. And I was like, goddamn right. So Why don't you do season... Good question, Matt. Great question. Are we going to continue with our seasonal numbering or start over? I feel like we're Marvel trying to figure out what to do with Thor 700 or something.
Yeah, exactly. That's a tough one. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we need to throw that to our Discord and get some feedback on that.
We'll throw that in Discord. You can also comment here whether you think we should go with season 4 Bronze Age Monsters or season 1 Bronze Age Monsters. I don't want to get a bunch of AARP material to us in the mail, but I want to get the credit for being long in the tooth a little bit, being around the block a few times.
Oh yeah, definitely. No, I'm gonna ponder that one because I'm curious.
Cool. So then each season will have a different focus, and each season will have a different theme song, which I'm so excited. I love the thing that I wrote the Werewolf by Night theme song. I just recorded the guitar one time on my computer, and then we started the podcast like 2 months later, and I was like, oh, I have this thing. So I just added stuff to it, and I loved it. And I'm going to miss it too, guys. But it's cool. I'm excited to hear what Jacob does. And I got to appease the Michael monster because he called in again and he's still mad that I have not put a music bed in our outgoing voicemail box message. So I will fix
So,
that
Yep, I
with a
have
beautiful
a.
piece of music Jacob wrote and recorded, and I love it.
Yeah, I'm excited. Yeah, it was another little sketch I had lying around. I think it works good for waiting room music or answering machine theme. So yeah, I'm pretty excited.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I told you it reminds me of the band The Circle, which we both love from the 60s,
Yep.
that John Lennon named, Cyrkle. And reminds me of something they did, or like something that Brian Wilson would do on Pet Sounds, those instrumental pieces where it's just kind of a jazzy, cool bossa nova kind of vibe to it. I absolutely am a sucker for.
Awesome. Yeah, I have some ideas for the Son of Satan theme. It's definitely going to be like kind of spooky minor key. But yeah, I'll have to. I haven't sent you any of those yet, Matt. There's a few things I want to. Yeah, as a piece of a song that I wrote that I kind of have have an instrumental section for, and I want to see if I need to re-record it or loop it or do something. So I'm sure I can send that to you. But yeah, I haven't. I've kept you in the dark.
Are you asking me to collab with you a little bit on the editing part?
That's that would be kind of fun.
I do like to edit. I
Yeah.
like to put beats together. I also have always done the little things when we're reading out the pack member names at the end. Those are always me taking bits of 60s and 70s songs like drum beats and orchestra hits and stuff and building loops out of them. So I do love doing that. I wish I could rap, but I cannot, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's okay.
And when I do, it's filthy.
I would assume you would anger the PMRC on that one.
All right.
So I don't know, Matt. I didn't know how you wanted to start this out. I thought maybe we could talk about where we were in August of 2020 when we started this.
Sure. Do you want to go first?
Yeah, I'll go first.
'Cause my head was in the oven, so I think that's
Well,
your story's
I
probably
think
better.
yeah, no, I think my head was basically in the oven too. So I mean, like everybody, 2020 was pretty shitty, and worldwide. So in September of 2019, I caught a virus that was not COVID, but it put me in the hospital and put me on a ventilator for a few days. And it was super scary. And Matt, you came and visited me in the hospital when I was out. And it was a very sweet visit. Matt, you came, we sat and talked about comics. That made me feel better. And you actually walked around with me on my first walk after I woke up.
That's right.
Yeah, with in my hospital gown, probably with my ass blowing in the breeze behind. And thanmy for
Using
confirming that.
in the shower for
Yeah.
3 years.
So anyhow, because of this, my wife and I were pretty traumatized, and so when COVID hit, we took it very seriously / overreacted, and we didn't leave. We left the house, but we didn't go into another building for a year. And so we were we had our own little world, and my wife and I get along great, which is awesome. So it was great just being stranded with her and the cats. But of course, existentially, it was very hard. My father died in March of 2020, and that was very hard. So by the time August rolled around, yeah, we were kind of climbing the walls a little bit. And Matt, you put it out there on Instagram, or I can't remember where, and we're just like, hey, does anybody want to start a podcast with me about Werewolf by Night? And I kind of looked at what day it was you sent that, and I'm like, well, I don't see any replies. So, okay, Matt, I had guested on your old show, That's Cool, That's Trash, a bunch of times, and I liked it. And so I just messaged you and I said, yeah, let's go. I haven't read a ton of Werewolf by Night, but I'm into it. Let's start it. And so, yeah, we started it and didn't think anyone was going to listen, didn't really care. We had a really good time just talking about the character, and kind of amazing things happened because of it that were very, very unexpected.
Hey, Russ.
Hey, Russ.
That's amazing. Glad the explosive diarrhea excuse got you out of work.
Good job, Russ. I appreciate it.
Please proceed.
Yeah.
Jacob.
Well, yeah, that was it. And it kind of changed my life for the better, especially during the pandemic. I know both you and I have mentioned this many times on air, that kind of saved our lives because we had something to do every week at a certain time, and that saved our sanity, saved my sanity, and I think it definitely saved yours. I mean, you talk about how it's cheaper than therapy, and it's definitely cheaper than therapy, but for me it was a lifesaver.
Yeah. I'm right there with you. When I think back to summer of 2020, I mean, April and May were scary and weird. You had a lack of leadership from the federal government, and it just felt like people were washing their fruit when they got, not washing, like wiping fruit down with isopropyl rubbing alcohol, and we
was
didn't know
us.
what the hell we were doing. And the CDC was adjusting things all the time and blah, blah. And it's when like July hit where it's like, this is going to be here for a while. This is not going away right away. And that's when the weirdness settled in. We started having cocktails. My wife Renee and I in the driveway. I would take music out and play '60s like jazz, and we'd have a cocktail sitting out in the driveway because that was our weird happy hour to decompress from me working at home and blah blah blah. And yeah, so end of August, end of summer through the election, pretty much, or through the riot or the insurrection. I don't know what you want to say, but like that was a really fucking dark time for me, and I think pretty much everybody. I don't want to pretend like this is my story.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was with you. Having a fixed things were good. Just like how
Yeah.
the drink in the driveway was a thing after work. I know I was going to talk to you about comic books and monsters and drink whiskey was a thing that gave me something to look forward to every week. So, like you said, we didn't do it for anybody. We did it for ourselves. And I think that what people like to hear is that we are friends who love each other, and we love comics, and we love talking about comics, and we like to laugh and be jackasses. And somehow all those things made a perfect cocktail.
Yeah, we did a lot of laughing, and there was a lot of jackassery. So we we checked all those boxes. But yeah, I mean, I think our wives probably appreciate it because it made us sane, and there was a couple hours a day where they didn't have to deal with us. So I think that my wife Alicia is over on the couch, emphatically agreeing under her breath. So yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And I did want to mention that Renee, my wife, is one of the most amazing people I've ever met. That's why I married her and fell in love with her. But she believes in me more than pretty much anyone in my life ever has. She curses me constantly for having zero self-confidence and zero belief in myself and self-esteem. And so she's been telling me we were going to do stuff like go to Los Angeles for a screening. She tells me that, if you do anything hard enough and long enough, that will happen because you're super talented. And so is Jacob. And she was right. And you were right. You said we're going to, get 2,000 listeners and blah, blah, blah. And yeah, it was, I was wrong.
Yeah.
You're right. I'm still driving my own car. I don't have a driver, but
Not yet.
I got flown
Yeah.
somewhere. That's something.
We did get flown somewhere. Hey, Jason, thanks. I was hoping someone would come on and at least be like, no, this doesn't look like shit. It sounds okay. And
Yeah,
that's,
thank you.
And that's Jason, who's my friend Jason, who recorded the album, who you went over to his house.
Oh,
so,
hey,
yeah.
Jason.
Yeah.
I love Jason.
Yeah. Yeah, no, Jason is great. And yeah, so like you said, I mean, we never expected anything to come of this, and so much came of this that we did not expect, mainly because, I mean, this guy started listening to the show, was probably one of our earlier listeners, and ended up making a movie of Werewolf by Night, which honestly, I mean, even if you told us that there was going to be a movie made about Werewolf by Night, I would have laughed my ass off. I would never have expected in a million years that would have happened.
They'd been trying to do it since I was reading stuff about this, and whenever that Man Thing was made in like Australia and went straight to the Sci-Fi Channel, and that was when they were also saying they also have Werewolf by Night. They're working on it now, and I was just like, they're gonna do it so wrong. Like I don't know if you've ever read James Cameron's scriptment for Spider-Man from like '99, which is horrifying. But I knew they were going to blow it and just make a straight werewolf movie and just slap this title on here without any of the nuance and the weirdness of what I loved about it, which was the Darkhold and the Malibu Gothic and the weird 70s-ness. And I just kept saying, God, I wish someone would give me $50 million and I would just make Boogie Nights, but instead of fucking, it's werewolves and magic. It would look exactly like that. Sunken living room floor, shag carpet, bell bottoms, mutton chops, but there's wizards and convertible cars going down 99 or 101. So yeah, we didn't get that, but we got something fucking beautiful from Michael Giacchino, which I absolutely love. I had to scroll through because I forgot that he had told us we were being added to the thank yous at the end of the credits, and I Watched it again over the break, Christmas season. I was like, there we are. He didn't lie to us.
Yeah. No, and also it's too bad he couldn't join us. We invited our good friend Brad Elmore to also be a special guest. He was not able to make it, but yeah, we really miss him. He was also one of the first the first person to give us a review, the first person to actually contact us. Honestly, I think was Brad.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, Matt, you were a huge fan of his films. You showed me his films, and they're amazing. And I know you were friends with him on Twitter. That's probably how he heard of us. But yeah, that was crazy. So Brad was pretty much our first guest, and has just been our brother in arms ever since. And it's so amazing that we're friends with him. Like I again never expected that to happen.
Yeah. So so he ran into a former friend of mine in the Bend area where he was from, and just said, at the comic shop, and said, I made this film called The Werewolf's Hammer. You know, I might want to check it out. It's on YouTube. And so my friend came to That's Cool, That's Trash, me, and said, yeah, he made this werewolf movie, and we should watch it for the blah, blah. And so I watched it, and I didn't blink or move or pause, you know. Like, that was fucking amazing, and it's, you know, the title has nothing to do with the comic. It does, but not, you know.
It does. But there's
explicitly.
There's not a traditional werewolf in it by any means.
But yeah, so we saw that and we chatted a bit on Twitter, and I would just say stuff like, the Bible sucks. The Bible's a shitty book, and then he'd come in and go, actually it's not. There's some really cool stuff, and he'd very Brad takes on things. Yeah. And then so when he came at me on Instagram, I was like, so when am I gonna be on the show? I was like, I can't talk to this guy. This guy's terrifying. Yeah. Hey, Michelle.
Hey, Michelle.
So we have a special guest in the waiting room. Shall we go ahead and let him in?
Let's let him in.
Great.
Hello.
Michael Giacchino. Hello,
hey,
sir.
What is up?
Hey, Michael.
This is so crazy. I know this must look like I'm in a witness protection program somewhere in Los Angeles. No, I just broke out. I'm in the back, so they don't know that I'm gone, so I can only stay for a few minutes. No, I'm at a bar somewhere. I don't know where I'm at. I'm at a bar in Los Feliz.
No, you look like Colonel Kurtz from Apocalypse Now, basically.
That sounds perfect. I love that. That's amazing.
There you go.
I'll take it. I have my old fashioned, so
I will.
Hopefully, what do we got?
Yep. Michael, we got our glasses.
Oh, look at those.
Yep. Yeah.
I'm shamed. I don't have my glasses. This is whatever the bar has here.
Michael was kind enough to give us these glasses that were made for the crew that have the fresco that's in the intro to Werewolf by Night as he's going into the rotunda. So
I love that you used the word fresco. That was awesome.
It's correct, right?
Yes, totally correct. Okay. That's amazing. I know. No, I just felt like fancy for a second. That's all. I'm just saying. It felt fancy. Very nice.
Well, Michael, so I just wanted to we were just kind of recapping our origin story. You know, whenever you turn on the show and you get the origin episode, you're like, oh, cool. Until you've seen it too many times, which I'm sure people are feeling now. But yes, I just wanted to say out of the gate, thank you so much for just making the time to pop in and say, hey.
Oh, are you kidding me? No, this has been the greatest part of the last few years for me, has been listening to your podcast. I love every second of it. And like I've told you this, but you know, it got me through the pandemic in so many ways. It was amazing to have as sort of like this weird creative resource that was there when I was making Werewolf by Night. It was just like, all of it was like, it was just crazy. All from Googling Werewolf. I literally just Googled Werewolf by Night podcast. I was like, does somebody have you know, and it just sort of like first thing up, boom. I was like, are you kidding me? This is like, somebody did this? Who in their right mind would do this? Who would do this?
No one in their right mind, but you know, and I like that Google kind of shit the bed with the mission statement of don't be evil, but the one good thing they did was get us together.
They did.
I know. It was amazing. Yes, it was great. And then when you think about that, when I think about that day, and then every morning I would get up early in the morning and I would listen to your thing, or late at night I would go out in the backyard and hang and just listen. And then to cut to that time, Andrea was just talking about it in the bar actually, and she was telling everyone else at the table. She was like, it was the weirdest thing. She goes, I had heard their voices for so long, and then all of a sudden they were in the back of our car. She was just like,
yeah, I kept trying to find a way to capitalize that and freak you guys out, like do the intro or something. But
anyway, it's been amazing to get to know both of you, and I'm very appreciative and very thankful for all of the work you guys have done. So thank you. So cheers to you.
Cheers
Yes.
to you.
Cheers. No, you were so kind to us to fly us down there and have us do the Q&A, and I don't know.
Oh.
I mean, Matt and I talked about this. I mean, we have lots of loved ones and people who love us in our life, but I don't think we've ever felt as special as when you gave us the intro at the screening, and Matt and I are just like, I can't believe this is happening, and we get up and everyone's applauding, and we were just like, wow. We just started.
It was so fun.
It was so much fun, but I mean, yeah, going through our minds, we're just like, look, we just started a podcast about literally the most obscure Marvel character. So,
but that's what I loved. That's what I loved about it. That's what made me so happy, because when I was talking years back, talking to Kevin Feige about this, I was saying, when he asked me that, he was like, "Wait, why that? Why are you picking Werewolf? Like, why does that interest you?" And I was just like, because it's weird and it's different, and nobody knows what it is other than this small handful of people in the world. And I just think it's so nuts that I that's the one I would want to do. You know, I love it. I love the characters as well and all that, but the idea that brings something so crazy and weird and different, and that it's such a gamble as well, like, that was really fun. That was a challenge. So, and that's what you did. You built this thing out of that. Out of love for that.
I loved seeing, like, director by night about your brother, your brother made about you making this film, which is, if you haven't seen it on Disney Plus, please go watch it. It's one of the most beautiful, thoughtful, and layered docs, behind the scene docs I've seen ever, especially
Really ever.
associated with any big studio like that. But yeah, I just kept thinking, like, wow, this was happening, and you were in Georgia. We were in your ears. I was in your ears.
You were totally in my ears. That was so weird. I know. You're always in my head. It's something I'm trying to undo.
No,
as you should, but we're there to stay. I apologize.
It's like a tapeworm. It's not coming out,
but I
baby.
told you the beginning of that other episode. Now, who was that?
Oh, that was
jumped on the mic?
Athena. That was Matt's daughter.
Well, that's
Athena.
my daughter Athena.
Yeah.
Okay, Athena, this is to you. I'm telling you, get into radio. You were great.
Yeah.
You've got to do it. You know. In fact, you could probably take over this whole operation if you play your cards right. So,
Well, she wanted to come down to LA with us. Not that she listens to the show or reads any of these dumb old band comics, but she wanted to collab with you. So she figured if you guys got in the same room, something would happen for her career.
I love that. Well, I love that. And like I said, I heard her. She was so hilarious reading your intro on the thing. And it made me so happy that you kept that in there. I was like, this is why I love this podcast, for things like that, because of moments like that. And that made me so happy. She was awesome. And then I loved it because there's that second when she goes, he's coming back.
Yeah. Well, that was the greatest thing, is that Matt was off doing something and Athena was in there, and she just sat down to talk to me and sat down and put the headphones on. That was not planned at all. And so we were just, giving Matt shit and being like, okay, yeah, why don't you should just say his intro? Like, look at his notes. You'll find the intro and then you can just take over. And so, yeah, that's what she did. And that was great.
Loved it. It was the best. It made me think of, like, now all I want is a full-on Bugsy Malone version of this podcast. That's what I want.
My wife was so excited when you texted us about Bugsy Malone, and because she has loved that film since childhood. She turned me on to it. I had never seen
what's
it.
not to love?
Oh my
God!
God!
Who turned me on to that? And it was I'm trying to think of what year it was, around 2000 or something like that. And I was just beginning work on Alias. And I was talking to J.J. Abrams about some stuff, or we were making something. I don't even know how it came up, but Bugsy Malone came up, and he was like, "Have you ever seen Bugsy Malone?" He made some reference to it, and I was like, "I don't know what that is." And he's like, "What? You've never seen Bugsy Malone? Are you kidding me? It's one of the 10 greatest movies in the world, and you need to do it." And that was like, there's no way to get it. I didn't know where to get it, so he burned me a copy of it on DVD and made me take it home and watch it. And I watched it with my kids. And then all my nieces and nephews were in town as well at the time, and everyone watched it, and it became like their religion. They loved it so much. They were young at the time, and they loved it, and they still go around singing Tallulah. There was even a spider in the backyard that summer that became nicknamed Tallulah. So it became a big thing in our lives. So yeah, I never saw it when I was young, but
I didn't either.
Awesome film.
I think I'm going to get an earful if I don't say this, Michael. Athena also, in our audio drama that we did for Monsters Unleashed, she played Clary Winters, or somebody that lives
The
in
nurse,
Holden House
or-
with
yeah.
Jack.
Yeah.
And
Oh
then
my
when we did
God.
another dramatic version, which was from the Man Wolf season, she also played a nurse or a doctor. I don't know.
I loved when you did those. Those were
Me
great.
too.
Those are
Well,
great. Like if we're talking about favorite moments in this podcast, like over the last couple of years, 3 years, I would say your daughter getting on, and that was like absolutely one of my favorite things. When you would do those radio plays, I loved that you did those radio plays. I was like, they just did that. I can't believe they just did that. It was amazing. I loved that. And then third favorite thing, and I think I've mentioned this before, but I still think about it. I love the after apologies.
Yeah.
I love.
We're
I love
we're
when
mad
Matt will rant about something.
That's Matt.
He'll go off on something, and then in the next episode, he'll be like his mea culpa. He'll be like,
Yep.
"All right, folks, I may have said something that maybe wasn't entirely correct or true or warranted, and I just want to apologize." Like those things.
Yeah.
I love that stuff. It was so great. Anyway,
I'm
it's just such a
passionate,
real. And I knew just by listening in those early days, I was like, oh, these guys are already friends and they just don't even know it yet. So,
Yeah.
With me anyway.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But that was so fun too, was just hopping on a plane and just having like my phone ring and a number I don't know, and like, I think it's Michael.
Yeah.
In the back of the Uber, we're like, hello? Like, hey, this is Michael Giacchino. What's up? I'm like,
What if
yeah,
I
we
would
were
have
just
been like,
instant.
I'm calling about your
instant-
car warranty.
Yeah. It was.
I just noticed that your leaf warranty is.
Yeah, honestly,
Yeah.
so we would have been so excited if you had flown us down there and just like you had your assistant, just like Curtis, like picked us up and took us places and we hung out with you for maybe an hour. That's what we literally thought was going to happen.
Kiss
and
the
so
ring.
we get to the hotel and it's hours before the premiere and you call us and you're like, I'm coming to get you. You're coming to my house. And so we're like, oh, okay, I guess.
I'm going to take you to the kill room.
Yeah, well, that was after you gave us this amazing tour of your place, and then at the end you showed us this great hatch that you have, and that's when we started making jokes. We're like, okay, because we were just like, oh, he likes us too much. He's gonna kill us. I think he's gonna wear our skin now.
He's gonna mount our heads on the damn wall. That was not that thing in Werewolf. They remember in the rotunda. That was real. That was real shit. No. That's the long game. That's a long game. Don't
Okay,
worry.
cool. I mean, we're fine
Your
with
heads
that,
will
but
be on my wall.
yeah.
Um,
But we were so excited that you gave us the royal treatment. Like we have never been treated
come
so
on.
good
please,
in our
please.
entire
You
lives.
You deserved every bit of it. You guys worked so hard on that show, and there's so much love put into it. It's like, please, yeah, don't worry. And as you know, I mean, you met all my best friends down here, and they're all like, everyone is just as nerdy and as lovable and as nice as you guys. So it's just people finding each other. That's all it is.
Well, that was
they're
the
trying
other
to get around
yeah.
you. Like
Yeah.
David's been talking to us and Kirk, and they're like, "Can we hang out with you without Michael?"
Yeah, they're just like we're a little tired of this guy.
You should,
but
you should actually. That's good thinking.
That was the thing too. Like Matt and I are just like, oh, Michael
Actually,
seems
David's in the bar right now. David's
yeah,
over there in the bar right
say hi to David for us. No,
was
we
like-
we were kind of expecting, I mean, Matt and I, we're not Hollywood types, so we know what we see on TV, and we're like, oh, okay, we're gonna get down there. We're just like we're peons, like we're nobodies, so we're gonna be treated like nobodies. And I'm sure Michael's friends are gonna be super Hollywood. And we go to the after party, and all your friends were so nice. It was like the least Hollywood thing I could imagine. Everyone was
No, they're
so
all real.
kind.
They're all
And-
real people.
Yeah.
They're all like the people that I love that are my close friends are all people who are here because they just love movies. They love making things. They love, and those are the people that you want to align yourself with. And clearly you are of that ilk. You guys love what you're doing. You're doing, no one's making you do this. Right. And,
Nope.
and you're, clearly.
Yeah.
And I think that's exactly the kind of people, and you'll find, I think the rep of Hollywood out there is sort of the what was that TV show on HBO, the Entourage, like that everyone feels like, oh, that's what it is. And yes, there's an element that is that, but that is a smaller element that you stay away from.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
sure.
feel like feel like Jacob and I were more like in the what was the player that film,
Yes, yes.
and like Swimming with Sharks with Kevin Spacey. Like the '90s kind of indie pushback on the studio system was like the kind of thing I grew up in, where it's like, wow, they're all just terrible people,
Yeah,
backbiting and just acid and acerbic.
And they exist. That exists here, but you just don't engage with it. You stay away from it. But most people are really nice.
Yeah, but so many things. I mean, getting to meet and hang out with Kirk Thatcher. I tell the story.
I could never apologize enough for that. I'm so sorry. I am so sorry.
Oh man, Kirk is
no respect.
Yeah, I know. I loved. He came on the
he's
show.
pretty
He
good.
did a bunch of impressions. He was Kirk.
Yes.
He's a
He's
gregarious guy. Like he's the man about town, and just
He is. And you know what? He's great. Like me, him, and David. For years now, no matter what, once a week we get together and catch up and have drinks. And it used to be before the pandemic, we'd go out to a different tiki bar every week, and find. But Kirk was always the one, like that could engage with anyone else in the room. Like he suddenly everyone was coming over to our table because Kirk is there, being Kirk. He's out there and he's
Totally
just like this
that.
giant lovable guy,
Yep.
and he's very safe and he's very and you just and. But he was the one. He was like the light, that Zelda Rubinstein was saying to stay away from.
Yeah.
He's Uncle Kirk. Uncle Kirk.
Yeah. No, and he's and he. Yeah, I mean, your core group of guys like Kirk and David. And I tell this story because me and my family and tons of my friends are just like Simpsons obsessives. And so I tell the story about the after party, how I basically saw you on the other side of the yard start pushing David Silverman towards me and just being like, David, go over to Jacob. He's going to ask you questions. Then you say to me, you're like, ask him whatever you want to ask.
Yes.
And so I had David Silverman, one of the architects of The Simpsons, sit down and be like, what do you want to know? And that was one of the greatest moments of my life.
Has he been on the show?
No.
You should have him on the next season. You should have him on because he also has really great insight into the artists and all of this. Like he's really, he's into all of that. So he would be a great guest.
Oh, we'd love to have him on. Yeah, he's super cool. Like just the coolest guy. And he played the flaming tuba in
That's right.
Werewolf by Night. Yeah.
Flaming tuba player. You know how? I think I said that. I told the story about how that happened on on one episode, didn't I? About why.
This is old home week, though. We're doing like our greatest hits.
Yeah, this is greatest hits. I want to hear this story again.
So David will come over to my house sometimes and bring his flaming tuba. Like mostly it's at Burning Man.
Totally normal phrase.
It's just a normal thing to say. Yeah.
Mostly at Burning Man, he does the flaming tuba, and I bring a drum set and I play drums next to him, and we do this thing outside our camp with Andrea as well. She sings and plays ukulele. So, but a lot of times, like 4th of July, whatever, he'll bring the flaming tuba over and we'll stay up and play together. Anyway, it was one of those nights. We had a big sort of backyard party, and Brad Winderbaum was there. Brad Winderbaum's one of the producers over at Marvel, and he kind of heads up all the things TV there. And David's playing away this flaming tuba, and Brad is looking at this thing going, what? I mean, as you would, like, what the hell what is happening? What world am I in right now? And he was like, we have to put that in one of our movies. I said, we can put it in Werewolf. Let's put it in Werewolf. And he was like, yes, do it. Put it in Werewolf. And then I was thinking okay, how do you do that? And then, and the script went through multiple versions, and it was very different in the beginning than what it ended up. But it did feel like there was something ritualistic about that thing, that feels old, that feels truthful, that feels like, again, ritual, and that felt like this great thing to do at the maze, and leading Gael into the maze. And it was just like, and everyone was like, okay, I guess. Everyone else was just like, I don't know what you're talking about, but okay, whatever.
Can I tell you how I read that or how it came off to me? It felt to me like, I don't know where that was set specifically, but it felt to me like it was somewhere outside New Orleans, and that this had some kind of link to like voodoo, and like the monster hunters came out of voodoo, and it just kind of emanated out from that part of like, New Orleans.
Interesting.
That was my read of it. Like, I loved it. It just felt like it was like generational, but it was multicultural, and it was just a weird, you know what I mean?
Oh, I totally love that. That's we purposefully never said where this was.
Yeah.
We always felt like, look, if they had a place like this, it would be so secret, not even we would know where it was, you know?
Yeah.
So we just said, let's not even pretend to think about that we know where it is. Let's just, it's somewhere. You know,
That's
so
awesome.
who knows? It could be outside. Although I'm thinking about that opening shot, that matte painting we have in the beginning.
Oh yeah.
Doesn't much look like New Orleans, but you know.
No, but
But it
still.
just felt like, you know, the
Yeah.
Baron and like, you know, like
Yes,
celebration
I
of life
agree.
and
That
death
mood.
go hand in hand in
Yes.
New Orleans. Like, It
Yeah.
just felt like it was all
Yes.
entwined like that.
So
Yeah,
I don't
and,
know.
and
If,
that's what it was
question.
meant to feel like. That's what it's meant to feel like.
yeah, we have a
Yep.
question from our friend Jason. It says, a real
Oh.
question. What do you use to fuel a flaming tuba? Asking for a friend.
It's propane. It's literally propane, and it's a propane tank that the whole tuba just hooks up to a propane tank. One of those little ones that you can carry with you. It's like a, you know, I don't know, I forget how many gallons.
10,
each one is, but,
whatever one? Or five
I guess so.
gallon one?
you know, like
Oh,
this,
that's
this
awesome.
high, whatever. You know, one of those, not the mini ones, but the, you know, the regular medium ones. That it's like the size of if you had a bowling ball in a case.
Yeah. Like
Oh,
the one
that's
you,
so
yeah.
cool.
Yeah, that kind of thing. Like for your barbecue, whatever.
Yeah. Like you buy at the grocery store.
Literally, that's what it is. And so at Burning Man, what he does is on his bike, because everyone goes around on bikes. So he has a little like a kiddie carriage on the back attached to his bike, and the tuba and the propane tank sit in the kiddie carriage, and he just like tows them around the playa, and whenever he feels like playing, he takes it out and lights it up and starts playing. Yeah,
So
it's
awesome.
crazy.
So does Disney own Flaming Tuba Guy now? We're kind of getting some questions from the audience. Like,
Yeah, no, that's an interesting question. No, but I mean, I think David is more happy that the Flaming Tuba is in the MCU. Like, I think that for him, that's what it's all about. That he's very happy about that. But I don't think they could. What do I know? Maybe Disney does own Flaming Tuba Guy. How do I know?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, it's
That
all
should have been
giant-
David. Should have
yeah.
negotiated that. That's not my problem. That's not my problem.
He's a Simpsons producer. He should know how to do all that shit. You know.
Yes,
So,
exactly. This is
yeah.
how I stay calm. I don't worry about other people's problems. You know.
God, I need to learn that.
So
Oh,
I have a couple questions about the special that I kind of
Yeah.
thought of that we didn't ask you. So I
Sure.
think we had talked about whether or not you had thought of having Topaz in there, and I think you were just like no, not really, and you had kind of talked about the first draft. So
I love that character so much.
I mean, who doesn't love Topaz?
I mean, you know what? So when you guys were talking about like, oh, and then Topaz reunites with Jack, and yet there's this standoffish thing that happens that they don't ever really acknowledge or get into.
yeah,
And you were talking about how sad that made you. Like, I loved that, and I was like, this
Yeah.
is why I love these guys, because like that's the level of love for soap opera for me is like then
Yeah.
then Matt went and brought up 90210. And
Yep.
the Peach Pit and all of that. I was like, there it is, right there. Perfect.
No,
Anyway.
that's the thing. We wear this shit on our sleeves. We love romance comics. That's what we love. We
Yes,
love the
it's great.
supporting characters and the drama and that.
Does
yeah.
it butch it up to say I would get stoned before I watched 90210? Because I did.
No.
No.
We
Let me
know
tell
you love it
quick side
unironically.
story. 90210. Quick side story. So when I moved out to Los Angeles, okay, when I moved out to Los Angeles, my roommate and I, who had been living together in Jersey City at the time, and when I was working in New York City, he said, we were together for several years, and he was just like, "Well, you're moving to LA." I was like, "Yeah, I have a job at Disney," and he's like, "Well, I'll go too, I guess. I have nothing else going on in my life." And he was working at the time he was doing sound effects, and it was for, I want to say, damn it, I want to say Technicolor, but it wasn't Technicolor. It was some sound. Anyway, I'll think of it later. But he moved out. They gave him a job at the same company in LA. And his thing that he worked on was almost every episode of 90210. So he would
That's
he would
great.
be out in the backyard recording birds and stuff, and then he would put them, they would be the backgrounds for somebody's house or whatever. Anyway, he was always out there recording stuff, but he worked on 90210. So there you go.
That's
There's a
so
connection there.
awesome.
That was another
That's
thing.
awesome.
Anyway, that was a stupid side story. Sorry.
Yeah.
Your question was.
Oh,
So
so
Wings
I-
Hauser was on 90210 for an arc. So
well, which Matt never lets me forget. So, what I was curious about, and this is, what did the first draft of Werewolf by Night look like? Like, how
Yes,
different was
please.
it than the final one?
All right, here it is. I'll tell
Okay.
you what it was. The first draft started out with it was a long hallway, and at the end of the hallway is a steel door with all of these locks and stuff on it. And you're like, what the fuck is that? But on the halls going down, it was like really nice, sort of like wallpaper, like flowery wallpaper and stuff. So with pictures and stuff of different family members that you don't know who they are. And the camera was going just slowly down that hallway towards the door, really slow. And you just hear all this craziness slowly but surely building up behind the door. It's going nuts, nuts, nuts. And then into frame walks a guy, and you don't know who it is. And he's like this hunched over old man, and he has something. He's carrying something, but you can't see what it is because he kind of comes in front of the camera, and we just see his back. And he goes up the thing, the sounds behind the thing start settling down. He pulls out a pocket watch, looks at it, and then he's like, okay. And then he hits these buttons on the thing. The door opens, and then there's someone in the corner of the door, just like crumpled, like really looked like a meth addict or something. And then you cut back to the view, and we see that guy who was walking down the hall is an old man. And into the camera view, he brings in a pumpkin, like a candy carrier that's shaped in the shape of a pumpkin, and he just goes, "Happy Halloween," and then it just like cuts to main titles, blah blah blah, whatever we do for main titles, and then boom, just cut to this Halloween party. We're at this Halloween party, and this girl is there, and she's really like doesn't look happy. Everyone else is having a great time. They're getting high on all this stuff, whatever, drinking. And she gets into this fight with her boyfriend, this massive fight. She's like, that's it, we're done. It's her apartment, but she leaves it, and she says, when I get back, you better be out of here, blah, blah, blah. She goes down, gets in her car, and there's someone in her car waiting for her, hands her this envelope. And he's like, and she looks at him, and she's like, and it's basically would have been someone like Swan. And she's like, Swan? And he's like, just hands her the card, and he won't look at her because he's disgusted with her for whatever reason. And then he just gets out of the car and leaves. And she looks at the thing. It's an invitation to a funeral, you know? And so what we were doing was trying to sort of like give a setup to who these people were, where they are in their lives, sort of what's going on, you know, prior to them meeting at the thing. Now, the other big difference was that once they get to this thing, it's actually a party. It's like a serious party. And actually, the thing he handed to her was not a funeral invitation. I forget. It was just an invitation to a party. So when she gets there, it's like full-on party. And what she finds out is everyone there has paid an exorbitant amount of money to be there to hunt and kill a monster. Right? So it becomes like a Donald Trump Jr. Bunch of assholes. These fucking assholes that just feel like, oh, I'm going to go out and shoot a lion because I have no penis. And,
we're apolitical, Michael.
Yes. If any of you love Donald Trump Jr., I don't apologize.
Yeah. That's $100 whiskey you almost made me spit out.
I want to get you help if you're out there. Anyway, so... So it became that sort of party that she ended up getting involved in, that, and it was more of that sort of a thing. And it evolved in a couple of different ways. And it was like, okay, they bring out a monster, they slaughter it in front of everyone. So you get the idea, okay, these people are real assholes. And it went from there. And I could go on for a long time about this, but that was the basic setup. So it was much more of like people who really have no clue of what they're doing getting involved in these monster fights, and there was a lot sort of, I think, cheekier than where we ended up being tone wise. Did you bring it? Is this first draft basically just by you? Had Heather Quinn come in at this point? No. Heather was there for this too, and it was me, Heather. It was me, Heather, Brian, and Stephen, Brian Gay, and Stephen Broussard, and we were just sort of like, you know, in the beginning, you're just like, all right, what could this be? And originally we thought it could be fun if it were a party, and they ended up meeting, and it was sort of a date they ended up on, you know? which, you know, there's a good version of that somewhere. We just didn't find it.
Okay.
So, and everywhere, every iteration we did just kept getting more and more focused, more and more, a little more darker, and a little bit more like it all started making sense. Oh, I know what this needs to be. This needs to be a very particular type of thing, you know? So, so your way in is not always your way out, is the lesson, you know, like on
Huh.
any of these things. It's there's quite a bit of evolving the story and evolving the structure, and you just have to be open to all of that and see where it goes. Um, so, and that's sort of the fun with working within a group like this. Everyone there at Marvel is so fun to work with, and it's such a great like team of people that are just, they're all very creative in their own right. So everyone just gets in there and best idea wins. So,
You know,
yeah.
I love that that all that work happened, even if it doesn't come to the viewer in the final form. Like, it all matters and it all impacts the final piece. So, like,
Yeah.
we told this before about how, like, originally we were going to see how Jack got that invitation to come. Like, that
Yeah.
totally loads it, and the characters definitely play it that way. So even though it's not on screen, it reads that way, and you get the kind of the same result without having all the runtime and baggage. Which I almost
Did I
like
show you
baggage,
those
but-
scenes?
No, we asked you if they
Okay.
existed, and you said yes, but that's all.
They exist. I'll show them to you. They exist.
Okay.
Wait, we won't turn
It's
that
it's
down.
real, but it's very interesting to see those kinds of things. You know, anytime you see deleted scenes or you see things from movies that were taken out or added in later, like it's very interesting to see that process. You know, because it just shows you that, like anything else, nobody knows anything, and you're always just trying to figure out how to get to the right version of the thing you're trying to make, you know, and being creative and making things is hard no matter what it is, doesn't matter what it is. So
Yeah.
it's always going to be hard.
True, but it's like the opposite of like when you're a kid with your first band in high school, where you're like, I'm playing this, I know 3 chords, and I hear David Gilmour just screaming on a solo right here, and then I record it in my garage, and I hear it sounds like shit.
Yeah.
What's
Yeah.
missing? Yours is literally the opposite of
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, well,
It's true.
no, because look, there's a ton of stuff that I could tell you about that was the equivalent of exactly what you're saying, but that's the stuff that you do and you leave behind, right? Because
Yeah, true.
that band in that garage is going to do that first, but after doing it several times, it's going to get better and better and better. And if you really stick with it and you're really committed to it, then it gets good at some
Right.
point.
But
You know?
they're presuming overtones that aren't there yet because their imagination's there, but their abilities and their
Yes.
access is not there. Whereas you're doing the opposite, where it's like I can create my entire thing, I can do whatever I want. You build these origin stories, these setups to the thing that we saw in October, and you kind of pull them back. But the characters and all of the benefit of living in that world, and you feel it as a viewer when you watch it.
It was, well, you know, it's a hard thing to do because honestly, Jeff Ford, the editor, and I really, till the very end, we're just like, we really do think we need that opening scene of them meeting at the gate. You know, we feel like that is at the beginning of their relationship. And to his credit, I will say Kevin Feige was the one who was like, I'm not sure if you do need it. You know, think about it. And as we talked about it, I started realizing like, oh yeah, that makes a lot of sense because from day one, I had been telling everyone, this is like a Twilight Zone, you know? And if I listen to that advice against what we have, what do you do in a Twilight Zone? You sort of drop in on somebody right at this crucial moment in their life, right? And you don't know what's going on and you slowly figure it out. I was like, you know what? He's right. He's like preaching back to me everything I was preaching to them in the beginning. But then you get self-conscious and you start forgetting it. And it's just, you just at some point realize you just trust what you thought from the very beginning, you know?
Well,
So,
that's
yeah,
really
so
that's really interesting because so the plan from the beginning with this experiment with the special presentations, so an under an hour runtime was not necessarily in the original plan.
No.
Interesting.
They didn't know what it was. Nobody knew. You know, we thought, okay, let's try and keep it under an hour. You know, if it's a special, we'll try and keep it under an hour. And I think that they budgeted it that way, and everything was just sort of being, you have to put numbers on paper, even if you don't know what it is you're making. That's the crazy thing about this business. So you end up with a budget that really has no relation to the thing you end up making. So you're always sort of dealing with that aspect of filmmaking,
Interesting.
But Feige,
which is
sorry,
it's just nuts. But yeah, go ahead.
like just like again, subverting all of our expectations. Like Feige being like, no, trust the audience, they'll get it.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
that's the
yeah.
opposite of my expectations from someone in his position.
Yeah.
No, and it's great, and that's why this is like the role of a great producer, right? Is to make sure you don't forget the thing you set out to make to begin with, right? Because you can easily get caught up in so many different aspects of what you're doing that you kind of forget some of those things. So for him to pull us back at that key moment and do that was like a great thing on his part. And that's why he is who he is and he does what he does. He's, and honestly, the other thing about him, he's just like us. He just loves this so much. He loves it. He's a good guy who's just a huge nerd, and I say that with love, and is really just passionate about making things and telling stories.
It comes across
It does.
in interviews and stuff. It totally comes across.
Yeah.
But like you've said, I mean, when we've talked with you a lot and about run times of movies, and you've ranted to us a lot about, how you just don't think movies should be over 90 minutes long. You just don't.
No, look, there's always going to be that movie that you go, yes, I'm going to surrender to 2001, right? Yes, be as long as you want, because that's fucking amazing. But I would say, in general, most movies that are over 2 hours kind of lose their way, right? And they're not really quite sure what's going on, so it ends up with padding. There's always a moment in the middle where you're like, wait, what is happening here? What am I watching? I don't know, and then it kind of hooks you back. Like, just get rid of that middle, So there's this tendency to allow insecurity to drive the length of your movie. And I'm just like so against that. I just I can't. There's several movies out right now which I won't publicly talk about. that do that, but I'm like, I love them all. I love movies. They're all great. Yeah. Anyway.
So someone, Russ, our friend Russ, wants to know, can we get you to do a Howard the Duck special? Can we rehab this character from the 1986 film?
I honestly would love to do a Howard the Duck thing. I would love it, because actually I think Howard the Duck is a perfect candidate for like a Twilight Zone episode.
God, yes.
Oh, yeah.
He's a perfect candidate for that. Perfect. And I think that could be amazing. So so if whoever
plus the Man-Thing connection, I mean, right?
Yeah.
Well, whoever asked that, tell them if they give us a green light and they're willing to finance it, I'm ready to go.
Okay.
That's Russ from Tomes of Evil podcast, and he will.
He has
he's
deep
working
pockets.
at Kroger. I think he can make
Come
that
on,
happen.
Russ. Come on, Russ. Put up. Let's go.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we're all on board for that.
Okay, he said he's on board. We're good.
Okay, cool.
There it is. All right.
That's Tony Iupi.
Produced by Russell.
We have two. We have two producers now.
Yeah.
Okay. Done.
So I mean, the announcement was made earlier this week that your next project is going to be the remake of the 50s sci-fi film the Giant Ant movie, which, my God, Matt and I are so. When you first told us about that a while back, we were so excited because it's such a good movie.
It's so great. It's so great, and it's also terrifying to choose that one to be the one that I want to do, because it is so great, and I love it so much. And what I want to do with it is different from what that was, but there'll be similarities. But I had this amazing, great meeting with Warner Brothers, and we were talking about all kinds of things, and they had things that they're thinking about making and developing, and they asked me at one point, like, well, what do you like? Is there anything you're interested in? And I was like, you know what I love? One of my absolute favorite movies of all time is the movie Them. I said, that's what I would want to do. And they said, wait, is that our movie? And I was like, yep, it's your movie, and nothing's happening with it.
And it rules.
And they were just like, and to their credit, though, the head of film was like, wait a minute, that movie was directed by so-and-so, it had so-and-so in it. And he was naming all of these facts. He's like a true movie lover, Mike DeLuca. He's awesome. Because he just loves movies the way we love movies, and he just said, and I pitched my version of it, what I wanted to do, and he said, I'll make that in 2 seconds. Let's make that. And it was really just like a fun moment. Like, it was a great moment in time of remembering, like, oh yeah, when everyone is together, is excited and in alignment and loves the same thing, it's that crazy little magic spark that can happen. And it was one of those very rare moments where that happened. So yeah, and then cut to that thing being announced in the trades, and it's nuts. So it's crazy. I still can't believe it, but I'm excited to jump in, and I will do my absolute best not to mess it up.
Michael, cue the music. Says, looking forward to them. What are the chances that'll be in black and white?
It is your thing.
I know, but
you're the black and white guy now.
No. I know. No, there has to be a very specific reason you will do it in black and white. And the take that I would like to do with this movie is definitely a color movie. It's definitely a thing because of the subject matter and the time that it's set in. All of that, to me, feels it's a full on color movie. But the thing about those movies, when the ones that worked the best, they were always about something, right? Like the Twilight Zone, when it worked best, it was about something.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that was usually some sort of social issue or something. And that's what I want to try and do with this story is, for me, I love the ants, and that's all great. Giant ants smashing things and eating people, great. But if it doesn't mean anything, then why are you even making it? And we all see so many movies that are just empty, and it's like just filled with cinematic moments that are either gore, violence, whatever, action, this and that, but that doesn't really amount to anything. So I'm hoping, and I'm going to try hard to make this about something.
Well, just
we'll
like
see.
the original one, was about the nuclear age and nuclear war.
Yeah, and what's great about that is that came out a year before Godzilla did. So that was the first sort of atomic age
Interesting.
monster movie that was talking about, like, do we know what we're doing? Do we know what we have that we're dealing with? And the movie, of course, the point of view of the movie is, I don't think so. I don't think anyone knows. I don't think anyone knows what they're doing. I don't think anyone knows what they have in front of them. So, I think that's an interesting, but at this point, like, yes, we're still living with a very serious nuclear threat, but in the zeitgeist, it's not the same anymore. No one's hiding in their basements. Everyone is just so stupidly numb to way too many things that they just let it go. So I think while that might be a element of what we're doing, it's not going to be the focus.
Okay. I'm not asking again to remake this. I just want to push again the brain from Planet Eris.
Yeah, I gotta watch that.
Agar.
I know, it's on my list. List. I'm sorry. Last night I had a double feature. Andrea and I watched. We sat at home last night. We watched Fritz the Cat.
Nice.
1974, which is, and I don't care what anyone says, I think that is a brilliant movie.
It is.
It's brilliant. Anyway, we watched that, and then we watched, what's it called? Hurry Up, Kill,
Caligula?
Pussycat. Yeah.
Faster Pussycat, Kill.
Oh.
Yeah. We watched that. Russ Meyer.
Oh my God, amazing! Russ Meyer at his
Satana.
finest.
Oh,
yeah,
boy.
Tourist
Yeah.
Satana.
I want her to
indeed.
spank me so bad.
Yeah.
I'm not even into that stuff.
So we watched. That was our double feature last night.
That was
amazing.
awesome.
Yeah, that was so much fun.
So
it
yeah,
was great.
I just quickly have to say, I mean, this is not spoiling much. This comes up in the first reel. These evil brains come from Eris, and there's a scientist that has access to the Pentagon that's played by John Agar, and I'm sure you know Agar from B movies,
Right.
Notorious drunk. But the bad brain, there's two brains, one's good, one's bad. The bad brain takes over John Agar, and he can shoot lasers out of his eyes, and the good brain unfortunately ends up in his German Shepherd, trying to stop his owner. It's fucking
I love
brilliant.
this. Okay, so
Yeah.
I love this, and so on. I get together with David and Kirk and my pals every week, and I said to them, I was like, guys, why aren't we like making these movies, like, for these super ultra low budget, like, why aren't we once a year just going out and making something so stupid and so silly that we just write in a day? Like, why aren't we doing this? What is wrong with us? We should be doing that, right? That should be a part of it's like working out in a way. I think, and it's like, so one of my New Year's resolutions was, actually, it might be my only New Year's resolution, I think, was to try and do that, to do something that is of that, that just that craziness where you're just like, all right, we're going to go out in 3 days and shoot a whole movie. And that's it,
Do you know how pissed I'd be if I signed up for a 72-hour film festival and you fuckers walked in and they're like, hey guys, where do we sign up?
I love those things. That's what I want to do. I want to do those. Well, we should do one together. We already started writing one.
We did already start writing one with you and Angus. So
That's
right. We basically have it. I mean, it's basically greenlit, Michael. So
yes, it is greenlit. Yeah. Although we never came up. We got a good setup, but we never really we didn't work the second act and third act.
But the setup is so good. We'll figure it out.
Yes, the setup is so good. Exactly. I love it. It is funny.
The pitch down.
We got the pitch. So that'll be fun. But I can imagine with your close group of friends, like everyone is so close and everyone is so creative and amazing.
Yeah, and everyone has different, That's why I was like telling you guys, like, okay, write this thing and let's make it whatever, if we this silly thing, if we can all just write this, let's just make it. So
let's do it.
Yeah, that should be our goal.
Okay, that's our goal for this year. Is to
just
do
make something stupid.
All right, I'm in. I know
we're
both
some dumb shit about carbs. This is way better.
Yeah, this is a way better resolution.
Yeah. The carb thing or the dry January. Fuck that. No.
Yeah.
I wasn't gonna start dry January before the finale of this series.
No,
I'm gonna start dry January. Never.
Well, as you know, our drinking game is so integral to the production of the show that
I know. I love that.
Yeah.
I love it. Breaking glass, like Jesus, it's like all this random shit. Got to find the forest. Is that ever going to get old?
No, okay. Never.
Okay, before I leave, so they're going to start wondering where the hell I am. But
yes,
before I leave, I'm going to say like favorite moments in the story. Right, like
please.
In the episodes,
he doesn't even need a handler. He handles himself.
I know.
I was just going to get him back on track.
It's just, is it Carnival of Fear?
Yeah.
Clearly, obviously, that one struck a chord because
definitely,
just watch the special. I loved that one. That one made me like when I read it, it just felt so sad and so like invasive. And that to me was like the core of what I hope to do, and I love that issue. For lesser reasons, I don't know why, but I can never get out of my head the Dr. Glitternight run.
Me too.
There's something so creepy and weird about it that I love it so much. In fact, those bat monsters, one of those heads is on the wall in Werewolf by Night as well.
We noticed.
Yes, so I was just like that really affected me in a huge way. That run, and like I said, I think that the guy who was the principal in Community should play Dr. Glitternight. Anyway,
Jim Rash, absolutely, Jim Rash. Yeah,
yes, that's it, Jim Rash. Yeah, so I'm feeling like that's an amazing thing.
That's done.
Yeah. There was a third one.
Black contacts.
There was a third one that I thought of today. What was it? It was this is weird, but I absolutely loved that scene when Moon Knight just decides, I'm not actually going to do what I said I was going to do here. I'm just going to let him go crazy and kill all these fuckers.
Isn't that amazing? Like, it's such a brutal scene.
Is that in 33?
It is it's one of the greatest moments in the whole fucking Werewolf, because that speaks to exactly why Jack should never fucking talk.
That's right.
As a werewolf, never fucking talk as a werewolf. He should always be unpredictable, dangerous, and a fucking like Tasmanian devil that if you let loose, you're rolling the dice, right? Like that's it. And the fact that in that moment that Moon Knight rolled the dice like that, I was just like, that was the greatest thing in the world. I love that so much. And he was just sort of watching it all happen.
Yeah. Standing back as a merc, a retired merc. It's like, wow, somebody put a nickel in him.
It was so great. And I don't know that there was a better sort of action setup than that in the entire run. Like, that was pretty damn smart. So, like, those are my favorite 3 things that I mean, there's so much more, obviously, and I could go on forever about the art and the writing and all of those things. And I just, we got to thank guys like Jerry Conway for like being there, doing it, and
That's right.
putting it out into the world for us to have the fun that we're having today.
Indeed.
Mike Plug, come on, how much of that art, Jesus?
Oh,
And
I
I'm
know.
like, where can I want that art so badly. Where can I get it?
I look it up
Yeah.
sometimes on original
Yeah.
art sites, like, the
They're there.
little not for sale symbols
Yeah.
below them.
Yeah, they all say not for sale.
I know. There's somebody like Dr. Glitter Knight hoarding all of this art.
Yeah.
I know it.
Dimension
I know
X,
it.
like an asshole.
He's out
He
there.
turned
I'm
it
gonna
into a black opaque egg, and that's where he took all of the art, and he's holding it hostage.
Yeah, it came out
Yeah.
of
I
it
love
too, which
that.
is gross.
That's perfect. Oh my God.
Wow,
And,
man.
and okay, if I had one addendum to the whole thing, I would add the whole Man Wolf thing is pretty fucking awesome. I love Man Wolf as well.
Right?
Yeah. Come on, Star God. That whole thing is like Jesus.
It's so good.
Appreciate
Yeah.
that
So
you gave
nuts.
some love to Manwolf.
Yeah.
We in our ballots we got some love for him too. I was worried people were going to forget.
Oh, that's
that.
great.
Think of him as like the Wire season 2. Like, why are they on the docks? What's with the
Yeah.
Greeks? Like,
Yeah, no,
dude,
exactly.
Manwolf rules.
Oh, Man Wolf is
It's
awesome.
such a great, and the fact that you got to see J. Jonah Jameson in that vulnerable space,
Right? Yeah.
You never see that, and to see him
Never.
in that space, I loved that. I was like,
He's written that way now all the time, but
But-
that was
Yeah.
a completely new dimension to him, to
Yes.
that character.
Yeah.
it's the best. I love it. So,
Yep.
anyway,
Thank you, Michael.
Yeah.
No,
thank you so
thank
much
you.
for showing up.
Thank you
Yeah.
so much for everything you have done. This has been so much fun. I cannot wait to get into the next run with you guys and see what you're doing with this whole, Bronze Age Monsters thing. It's going to be fantastic. And I want to be on one of the shows. Let me know.
Last thing here, Letty from Rio de Janeiro wants to say, Mr. Michael Giacchino, thank you for the amazing soundtracks and the flawless WBN movie. In a nutshell, it changed my life for the better.
Aw, Letty, you are very welcome. Very welcome.
Yeah,
Thank you for watching.
She's seen Werewolf by Night more than you have, I think.
I think
so.
Probably.
Yeah.
Totally.
I may never see it again. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, Michael, give our love to Andrea. Say hi
Yep,
to the
I will.
fellas.
Say hi to
I
David, say hi to
will.
Kirk.
I will,
And-
and we'll talk soon. You know that.
Yep.
Alrighty.
Thanks
Okay.
again.
Good
Take
night.
care.
Thank you for your
Bye-bye.
service. Bye.
Take care.
Well, it was lovely. He said he could only
Man.
pop in for a minute. That's so Michael, though.
It is really Michael. He's like, I'm busy. I'm going to be out drinking. Like, I'll just pop in for like a minute. And yeah, it's an hour later, which I knew that would happen.
Well, yeah, I guess we can move on then to the bulk of the program, eh?
Yeah, let's move on to our top threes. So we're also going to be doing a drawing for everyone that sent in their ballots.
Yes.
I have a pretty cool 70s champagne bucket that is filled with ballots that I am going to blindly draw from. And so how we're going to do this is we sent ballots out to everyone, and we had top threes. We have top 3 moments, top 3 villains, top 3 issues, and top 3 storylines. So, yeah, so I guess what I'll do, Matt, is I'll draw a name, and they'll have and then we'll look up their top 3s, and then maybe we let the winner, we'll read the winner first, then us. Does that sound good?
Yeah, and so how do we want to handle the gifts? Because we found out Michael did actually send us 4 signed posters.
Yeah.
Suitable for framing, gallery ready. So I was thinking that some of the smaller kind of jokier gifts could be things we could just do at the end for fun. And I think that maybe the people who voted for the category should get autographed posters.
Yeah, no, I absolutely,
And we will ship
believe
these
that.
to you internationally. We're a big time operation now. So
I mean, look at these tuxedo shirts. Like, we're rolling in the lucre over here. So, yeah.
cool. Again, thanks to everybody for joining us and chiming in. Super fun to be here with you guys. And it's weird. This is the final episode. It was weird recording the final episode, which was the normal final by the, talking about Doctor Strange, Sorcerer Supreme number 27. And it's weird here saying goodbye like it's a funeral, but a good funeral, like where you get drunk and you play the pogues and shit.
Yeah, that's right. This is a Pogue's funeral that
Yeah.
we're doing here right now.
Yep.
Okay, I am going to. Okay, that was my lovely wife Alicia. Got to pop in and say hello. And gotta show them your dress. So Alicia, because I'm all in black, I got my tuxedo. Alicia's in her velvet spider web dress.
Beautiful.
That is that has a hood like Veronica Lake, and I Married a Witch. So
Nice.
that is my lovely and gorgeous wife.
We love Alicia. She was also, by the way, I didn't mean to slight her when I mentioned Athena's credits in our voice work. She did some voice work in the Monsters Unleashed radio drama, as did my wife, Renee.
That's right. Yeah, it was a family affair because it was COVID, and we all did the voices. And
Yes.
yeah.
So yes, Michelle.
nice.
Yes, Michael sent us a bunch of signed posters. We asked him to, and he's the nicest fucking guy we've ever met, and he sent
Seriously.
them right away. So those are the prizes. So when we reach into a new category, we pull out a what are we doing first? Moments.
Yeah, we're gonna do moments first. Okay, I'm looking away. I'm going through here. Okay, so I have these. They have a little gold seal that I get to open, like it's the Oscars. And okay, so our first contest winner is David Goodwin from San Diego.
Okay.
David, are you watching? If you are, yeah, jump in the chat because
We got a bunch more ballots. Once I said you don't have to be present to win.
yes, so you don't have to be
So,
present,
yeah.
of course.
So David Goodwin wins number 1. Okay, David, you win a Michael Giacchino autographed Werewolf by Night poster. I'm sure you've seen the art. It's fucking gorgeous.
Yeah, it is amazing, and
Okay.
and yeah, he sent us 6. Matt and I are of course keeping one each for ourselves, and yeah, raffling off those 2. So let's go to David's moments. Okay, I'm going here.
I'm heading over there as well.
Okay, yeah, David from San Diego.
Yes.
His top 3. So it's all right. So should we each say our third first? Is that would that work for you, Matt?
Yes.
Okay. So David's third favorite moment was Morgan Le Fay's conduit to the present shrinking to a pinhole as her past self is reduced to ash by Spider-Woman's venom blast, followed by everything in the scene getting vacuumed into the vortex of the time hole in Spider-Woman 6. David, I have to agree with you. That was a great scene and one of the highlights of season 3.
Yeah.
So yeah, totally great. And I'm glad you explained it all too, because you couldn't just say, her present going back into the past. No, you had to mention everything from the pinhole to the ash to the vortex. And yeah, definitely one of the high points of season 3.
And
It's okay.
early multiverse from Marvel back then. I mean, at least
Yeah.
having, maybe not multiverse, but having multiple timelines coinciding. Time is a flat circle in Marvel
Yeah.
officially as of 1981 or whatever.
That's right. All right. Can I go with my third favorite moment?
Yes, sir. Please.
Matt? Okay. My third favorite moment of the series is a Man-Wolf moment. It's the reveal that the universe of Otherworld existed in the molecules of a pearl from the necklace of Jennifer Walters' mother. So that takes place. I think the reveal takes place in Savage She-Hulk 13. I love the Marvel premiere stuff. It shows up in my top 3s as we will see. But that reveal that everything is in, this is why David Anthony Kraft is like an acid-soaked genius.
Yep.
And we were excited to go through the Man-Wolf appearances, but we didn't realize that when DAK took over the writing on that series, it just went out of this world, literally. And then we thought it went to outer space, but really this universe just was collapsed into the molecule of a pearl in She-Hulk's necklace. So fucking rad. So yeah, that's my number 3.
Okay. I feel like I need to just start my entire top 3s off with just saying, if I'd done them 2 hours later, let alone the day before or the day after, they would be completely different. I was
Absolutely.
agonizing over this, having a hard time with it. So I just want you to know that these are all completely fluid, and it has to do with where I'm at emotionally and mentally at the time. So
Yeah.
my third greatest moment was the mauling of Buck Cowan.
Okay, it's in mine, but yep,
So that's issue 31.
that's issue 31. That's right.
Yep. It came up a lot, as we're gonna see. Hopefully, I mean, Yeah. Also, another thing is, I guess since we're talking about moments, we can kind of fluidly jump along the x-axis here and pull some other people's ones up because they're not going to be the one that win the drawing, right?
That's yeah, we can do a little bit of that. Yeah,
yeah, a
for the
little bit. I
moments.
don't want to
Yeah.
get bogged down in trying to represent everyone, but just like maybe just seeing patterns, like.
Well, the Jack mauling Buck Cowan in the snow. I mean, I'm pretty sure like 4 or 5 people chose that. It's in
Yeah.
their top 3s. That's one of the ones that yeah, along that x-axis, a lot of people recognize that as a moment. I mean, it's a spoiler. It's number 2 for me in the moments.
Let's do ours, David's, and then we'll kind of just talk about some of the people's stuff that we noticed came up a lot.
Yeah, sounds good.
Sorry, that's more orderly than I tried
Yeah.
to do.
Okay, well, let's go to our number 2. So the number 2 for David was the Werewolf Trio.
Can we
you
trade
do
them
it.
off?
Yeah, you do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is the Werewolf Trio rooftop chase, concluding with Lieutenant Lou Hackett plunging into a vat of molten steel in Werewolf by Night number 21. Golf clap from Matt Howell.
That is, man, we loved that moment. Matt, you especially loved that moment.
Yeah, it's playing me like a fiddle.
Yes, it's so good. Yeah, just that art too of just the 3 werewolves leaping over. It's silhouettes. It's like from
Like
far
cave
away.
paintings. Like
God. Yeah, that hit us really hard when we were going through that issue. So yeah, kudos again, man. You're really calling it. All right, so I go to mine now, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Well, yeah. No surprise. Jack nearly killing Buck in the snow and Werewolf by Night 31. So yeah, it's just so savage and unexpected. And Matt, I thought about this. So it's the only issue I think where Don Perlin gets a co-plotting credit.
True.
And I thought that was interesting. Like, I wonder if either the two of them worked together to make this moment really work, or Doug Mensch wanted someone else to blame if everyone hated it that Jack basically fucking murders his best friend.
Right.
So I couldn't decide which one of those, but I did love that. I did notice that, yeah, Perlin gets a co-plotting credit on that one. And it's a wonderful moment. It's devastating. You don't believe it because this is almost that issue is like, oh, we introduce buttons and it's like goofy as fuck. But then you see that at the end and you're just aghast at what happened. So yeah.
My number 2 moment was when this is probably circa Werewolf by Night number 18 when Jack did team up with Coker as in the werewolf form. So we're crossing over here a bit.
So good.
Yeah, them going into the beast forms and joining together in the hunt is one of my favorite things.
Yeah, super awesome. Okay, well, let's move on to David. David's number 1 moment of the entire series is the Hangman unceremoniously being arrested by the police at the conclusion of Werewolf by Night 26. One of the funniest fucking moments of the entire thing. Because it's such a Venture Brothers moment in a way to where they're like, I can just call the cops. Like, I thought I had to fight this guy, but oh no, I guess I can just call the cops and the cops will just come and take him away because he's a psychopath.
Yeah.
Like,
and I love, it completely diffuses him, right? Like all of his power, all of his terror, whatever he is just like, no, dude, just call the cops.
Just call the cops, and he turns into fucking Charlie
he
Brown.
Has a scythe. They have guns. They have sidearms.
They have more training than just watching Gary Cooper movies. So yeah. No, David, that is a great number 1. So should I go, Matt, or you for our final number 1?
Why don't I'll go.
Okay, you go.
I mirrored one of yours. Again, I feel like some of this is so mercurial and so just based on the moment. So again, don't fence me in. But the revelation that the Star God world was a microcosm within a pearl was definitely, as a post-puberty stoner, was definitely a very just chef kiss. Like,
oh, it's just one of the best moments, and I'm glad we got to share those moments with Michelle from Moonlit Comics, who was a guest on one of those issues. And fuck, that was so good, Michelle. I'm so glad we had you on for that, because how amazing was that? Okay, I'm gonna go pretty stereotypical for me to choose my favorite moment of the entire series. Would be the introduction of Topaz from Werewolf by Night 13. So the opening page is just so beautiful. That is the one page that's on my dream list to own from Werewolf by Night. It's so gorgeous. Topaz is coming in through the it looks like a jack or something, like a door, and it has
like a spade
curtains. Yeah, it's like a
of,
spade. Yeah, and so she opens the curtains and says, "My name is Topaz, and I have need of you this balmy night." And it's just such an iconic entrance. And interestingly, when I went back and I kind of reread that issue, I was reminded that Marv Wolfman wrote that issue. So Marv Wolfman is the co-creator of Topaz with Mike Ploog, which I had forgotten.
I never thought about that.
Yeah, interesting, right?
Yeah. So let's talk about some patterns we saw. One thing I loved was that a lot of people took moments in a very kind of broad sense. So they thought not only is it things that happen in the issues, but things that happen in the show, or it's things that happen to Matt and Jacob in their lives during this moment. So that
I
was
love
rad.
that. That was so great.
Several people said the fact that Matt and Jacob got to go to LA to a screening. Some people said having Michael G on for the interview is one of their favorite moments.
Well, I'm going to agree with both of those. Those were some of my favorite moments of my entire life.
Yeah. So Man-Wolf becomes the Star God came up a lot.
A lot.
Jack Russell fights Dracula came up a lot.
Yeah.
Well,
MJ
from Brighton said Simon Stroud commandeers some poor dock worker's boat. I still randomly laugh about this sequence to this day and mention it to my partner to crack her up too. So I
do the
Simon
same.
Stroud love.
Yeah, right as I read his entry for that, I started cracking up. Anytime I remember that panel, it's just oh my God, it's so good. Jason, thank you so much for coming on. I was so glad that you were here and you got to send some comments on Michael G's way. So yeah, thank you so much. Jason was on. He says hello. But Tim Tucker, also from England, his first his number one moment was the first appearance of Topaz. And Tim, another early guest on the show and one of our great friends, member of the Discord. So Tim, we're simpatico, you and me, but I already knew that. So
yeah.
All right, should we move on?
Yeah. It's a good call.
Okay, we are going to move on to top 3 villains. So, okay, not looking, going in here. Okay. Opening up the sealed envelope.
I love that it's all official like this, too,
Yeah.
so there's no funny business. Letty. Right on. Letty, you're getting a poster signed by Michael Giacchino. I have a feeling you're going to be excited about that.
Yeah, I think I hope you're going to get that framed and give that a position of prominence in your house, which I know you will, because you've been really great to us. You've been a great friend to us. You showed up on the watch-alongs. We've loved getting to know you, and so we're going to be mailing you a signed by Michael Giacchino poster to where you live, which I think is Rio de Janeiro. Yeah,
Rio de Janeiro. Yeah,
nice, amazing,
super cool.
Yeah, very very cool.
Let's hear Letty's stuff.
Okay. So Letty's third favorite villain, which I loved, was Layla from just a few episodes ago in the Marvel Comics Presents, right?
Was that that was the female biker, right?
Yeah, that was the
werewolf, the child of Jack.
Yeah, the child of Jack.
Cool. Yes, that's what I thought that was. I wasn't sure because okay. I was like, I'm assuming this is a Marvel Comics Presents Brain Eater. That's what I was trying to remember. Brain Eaters.
She's the leader of the Brain Eaters. And yeah, we loved her too. She was great. She was a really cool character, and I'm glad that she spoke to you. That was really awesome.
Yeah, it's a shame that Silver Dagger and the sword tore her to shreds before she got to have a little bit of room to stretch and be a character, because I think there's as I say frequently, there was some gas in that tank that got eliminated, burned off real fast.
Yeah.
Good call, Letty.
Okay, I'm going to go with my third favorite villain. Okay. My third favorite villain would be Harrison Turk, or Arison Turk, as we later learned that his name was. I was just thinking to his introduction. Remember when he was Christine's art teacher?
Yes, I remember.
And then he literally becomes a godlike supervillain of Otherworld, which I didn't expect. And so, yeah, I thought he deserved a spot in my top 3. How about you, Matt? What's your third favorite villain?
May I comment on yours before I say mine?
Please, please.
Yeah, I mean, from date rapey art teacher to usurper of a throne in a barbarian space world, kind of a lateral move. But I love that he's essentially a Loki or whatever in this world.
Yeah.
He's like the angry stepbrother or the angry whatever that kind of got shafted in his view of the throne. And he was badass. Is it okay if I mention it here and there, some honorable mentions? Because I could not keep this to 3 for all that
I
stuff.
know. I had a hard time too.
He was an honorable mention.
Okay.
Kind of a curveball here. You ready?
I'm ready.
Number 3 for me, Winston Redditch, Deprave.
Okay, that is a curveball right there.
The Brute, as he's known on the cover.
Mr. Hyde.
Yes. So we've come in. We just came off of Atlas, I think. Minch is kind of getting comfortable. Perlin's getting comfortable. Everyone's getting comfortable. And they're still kind of like, how much do we have to do these Gothic tropes again? And for some reason, I guess he kind of sucked so much that he was awesome. So it's like a Neil Breen character. Like,
You love that stuff. You do.
don't forget that the only reason this happened, first of all, I love that in the 616, Robert Louis Stevenson exists, and so does the Curious Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, and that a scientist tried to use that for good, and then his wife was going to his lab and accidentally switched beakers. That is
Beaker
why
switch.
this guy exists. And so I just thought that he was such a badass, and he could take a Jack Russell punch and kick and all this stuff, and he was really strong. I love that he was through 3 issues. I think he appeared at the very end of one, and he swears off it like at the end of the first or second issue, and then he accidentally turns back into him without the drug. I think was the thing. Like it's already in his system. It's too late. So. And I believe, I can't remember, I think he lopes off as Hangman's getting arrested, and he just resolves, I will never, ever do that again.
Yeah, that was
So
just
he's still alive.
He's still alive.
Also, very rare for a Werewolf by Night villain to survive the meeting.
You know what? That's right. I totally had forgotten about that, but I think we had noticed that in our first run up on that season. But yeah, Glenn, you're totally
Yes,
right.
Glenn, thank you. Pure evil. What an aspiration, right? We don't see that enough anymore. People always couch it in things. I just want political power. Oh, I just want money. Oh, I'm Andrew Tate. I'll tell you how to get girls. No, this guy's just like, no, I want to be evil.
Yeah, he was just pure evil.
For evil's sake.
Yeah, that's all he wanted. Okay, so number 2 for Letty of her favorite villains of the series is the Committee, which is a solid choice. Definitely a solid choice. So the Committee, which showed up in Werewolf by Night 9 and 10 in one of my favorite storylines that I'm going to get to in some of my picks, where we meet Tatterdemalion, we meet Sarnak, and the Committee goes on to be very important in the Moon Knight
I love
lore.
economic terrorism, though. Like that's like your thing.
Yeah, I do. I love rich people dying. I don't know what that says about me. Maybe.
I can never tell if you were on Sarnak and the Committee's side or Jack's side.
Yeah, no, I love Sarnak. Well, I'm going to get to this because I have a lot to say about Sarnak later. But yes, I totally agree. The Committee is a great villain and was set up by Conway, and the Marvel Universe just ran with it. The Committee's still active to this day.
That's what I was going to say. Was they not only existed, but they kind of thrived and kept going on. I mean, for decades. So
decades, yeah. Solid choice, Letty.
Yes.
All right. So why don't you go with your second?
Okay. So my second one is Bellaric Marcosa. I love the way that this guy, I mean, we've talked about how this is just a ripoff of a Matheson book, right? I mean, is it Matheson? Hell House?
Matheson is Hell House. That's right.
So I forget the name of the analog, but I mean, Bellaric Marcosa is basically just like switching, it's an anagram essentially of the villain from that book. But it's like 4 issues, which was a saga for us. I mean, we said saga jokingly a lot, but we did not get a lot of long runs of stuff. And this was like, this guy was working people over. Like, he gave Jack the power of his intellect and his wolf body and Jack's like, I think he just thinks it's funny. Like
Yeah.
he's so cruel that it's just him doing like puppets, like marionette stuff.
Yeah.
And he was just turning the women into demons, just like, I mean, he's just warping reality.
Yeah.
Just pure absolute evil. And plus the grill was fucking tight. So
It was. I concur because my second choice was Belleric Marcosa.
Nice.
So we are the same on that one. Yeah, I mean it's a take on Matheson's Hell House, but it's so much fun. And I know we talked with Michael about it, that, you know, I mean, and Michael hates it when the werewolf talks, but and that one is just so goofy because there's certain panels in some of those issues where Jack has like a shit-eating grin on his face as the werewolf, which we had never seen before and was really fucking hilarious.
No, he looks like Peter Brady in some of
He
those
did.
panels.
Yeah, totally. So, but yeah, I love that, and yeah, the Marcosa House saga shows up a lot in our votes. We definitely saw a lot of that. So let's get to our number one villain. Letty's number one villain of the Werewolf by Night series was Dracula. Also a pick of a lot of people. People love to see Jack fight against Dracula. People specifically mentioned the panel where it's Jack and Dracula fighting with Topaz on the hill behind them.
Rules.
It just rules.
If I had a van, that would be the side of the van.
Airbrushed on the side. Oh yeah, that would be
You know
that
it.
would be so badass. Okay, so and this is what I want to talk about. So my favorite villain, which again, this changes a ton. I totally understand, but I got to go Sarnak because I loved him. I know it's kind of a weird pick, but it's such a strange story. His origin story made me laugh. Matt, I thought that you had hilarious jokes about his origin story. How, you know, he's a sound engineer that decided to be evil and went along with the committee's plans to somehow cause economic chaos by unleashing a werewolf in downtown LA.
Yeah.
And you had talked about how, they just wanted people to buy more copies of Led Zeppelin 4, which I still laugh at that joke. That was the funniest. That was one of the, if I was to have a top 3 jokes that you made, Matt, that is on that list because I still laugh about that.
I forgot about that. That was
I know.
good.
We need to, when we talk to Jerry Conway eventually, we need to let him know about that.
That was a corker.
Yeah, and this was a kind of a weird swing for Jerry Conway because those 2 issues were his swan song for the series. So I love it. It's his last writing credit, and he went weird, and I love him for it. So that's why Sarnak's my number 1.
What was the issue this season that we talked about where there was someone named Sarnak, and you were like, that has to be like his brother or cousin, right? Like, you remember that? Where it's like Gary Sarnak, and we're like,
Oh yeah,
that doesn't just happen.
No, that doesn't just happen. That was some kind of reference that whoever wrote that threw in for fun. Yeah.
It was like Ghost Rider or something. I can't remember what it was, but interesting. Okay.
What's your number 1?
My number 1 is you're getting a sense of theme here, and I'm sorry if I upset you or bore you. My number 1 villain of the entire series is Lou Hackett.
I love it. I would expect nothing else from you.
So if you forget, Lou Hackett is the cop who was on the case, checking out what these werewolf reports were. He had big stacks of files that said werewolf files on them. And he eventually gets his hand on a ring that gives you the power to turn into a werewolf. And I love that he was essentially the ultimate corrupt, crooked cop. He has the power to turn into a werewolf, and he immediately starts wreaking havoc and doing pure evil.
He does. He couldn't handle it.
Yeah, and so, you know, I talk about Wings Hauser all the time, but God, Wings Hauser in 1980 could play this fucking character. He's perfect. Like, just a big, butch, kind of meathead-looking ex-footballer cop who is absolutely corrupt, pure evil inside. And when he can turn into a werewolf and fuck shit up, will instantly.
Yeah.
And he need to be thrown into a vat of molten steel.
Yeah, I mean, best death really in the entire series.
Oh,
like
God,
that's
yes.
oh my God, yeah, Lou Hackett. God damn, I gotta second you on that one. That's amazing.
Yeah, and I have to say, so another backup was honorable mention, Father of All Worlds from Giant-Sized Werewolf by Night number 4. The Cthulhu Lovecraft-esque entity that was inside of a hollowed out mountain. I love that one so
that was the
much.
backup, right? With
Yeah.
the satanic cult, or
Yeah.
the cult of this guy, of whoever he was, and then
Yeah. Well, he's the
yeah,
father
and that
of all
was
worlds.
wasn't that like young Montano, the Filipino
Yes.
artist, did the art for that, and we loved the art for that. I mean, I'm both of us are on record how much we love the Filipino artists of the 70s that came over in that wave, and young Montano is a great example of that. He's amazing.
Yeah, and just the body horror thing of having the tentacles coming out of people's chest. Oh God! I mean, you have me right there, right? It's just it's just body horror. So
That was fucking awesome. Okay. All right. Let's move on to our next one. Oh, no. You wanted to talk about other people's villains. Sorry.
oh yeah.
So let's.
So Dracula came up quite a bit.
Quite a bit.
So did Moon Knight.
Yeah, which I
Several times.
loved. Yeah. Can I say what my favorite was? I think it was Jason Feinstein. I think his number 3 was Buttons.
Yeah, I know. I saw that. That made me so happy.
That made me laugh out loud. So thank you, Jason. That was the greatest pick, because Buttons really was the true villain of the series.
So Glitter Knight got a lot of propers.
Yep.
And I honestly love that Michael loves Glitter Knight.
Well, how can you not? I mean, that's so
He's
awesome.
grown on me. When I was first reading this stuff as a kid, like I was like, he's the lamest villain ever. He's somehow like parlayed that into a fortune of lameness that became grand and awesome in its scope. So he's flying squirrels. His eyes change from white to black. He lays black eggs of stuff. He turns people into were-demons, like their most corrupt possible cursed form. He grew on me. The Hangman got a lot of love.
No, I get
which
it.
I liked too. A lot of people like him. He got, Brad was a particular. I think we made a point of scheduling Brad for Hangman episodes just to kind of pull the string on Brad and let him go. Taboo came up quite a few times.
Hey, I understand. Taboo's a great villain, and he's he's Topaz's adopted father, and so we love Taboo.
And lastly, there was a one-off, Joshua Kane. I really appreciate that someone, actually 2 people said that.
Yeah, 2 people said that, and I really respected that, because the Kane brothers, definitely we have some love for the Kane brothers.
As a duo, actually, as a pair, they're much stronger than they are. The whole is greater than some of the parts.
Agreed.
Like the fact that one's a butch jock guy and one's this Vincent Price, like, together they were rad. Like if we'd actually seen them operate together, they would have been a lot more formidable, I think. I
agree.
Atlas got multiple call-outs, which I liked. Atlas was fucking weird.
Atlas was fucking weird, and that also was the episode that we had Rebecca Cole, member of Pavement, on, and people loved her appearance. People loved that we brought her on. She was not normally a comic reader, had never heard of the comic that we were going to read, never heard of Werewolf by Night. This is back way before the special was even announced. So yeah, no one knew about Werewolf by Night. And we brought her on, and she was so game and just brought great commentary to it. And so I feel like that her appearance on that episode may have nudged Atlas up people's lists a little bit. So thank you, Rebecca, for that.
Yeah, and before we move on, Demon Lissa, Silver Dagger, and Mom Mayhem both get honorable mentions from some
Mom
of our
Mayhem,
listeners.
all right.
I like that, right?
I liked that too. It's from the Behemoth issue, right? Yeah.
Well, yeah, but she was twice, right?
Oh,
Because
no,
doesn't
you're
she
right.
switch? She also appears as a young woman and then tears her mask off or something, or vice versa. She appear as an old woman and then she was actually a young, sexy woman?
That's right. with
That's
her
also like when
mask.
Larry Tong appeared for one issue. Baron
That's
Thunder.
right.
Remember when was the last time we
Oh,
thought about
Baron
Baron Thunder
Thunder.
and his playset?
Where's that playset, man? We need to do that. Jason says, yeah, Rebecca was one of my favorite guests you guys had. Agreed. She's one of my favorite people on Earth and one of my best friends. So yeah, we're going to have her back on when we're up Bronze Age Monsters, hopefully for the Son of Satan episodes.
Oh,
So
she would be great on that.
She would be
Because
totally
loved just
great.
how psychedelic all this stuff seemed. Like it's so arbitrary and strange.
She was so cool.
Wait till you have a guy, the Son of Satan, fighting demons.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I am going to draw because we are moving on to the next category, which is
Yes,
top
sir.
3 issues. So
Yes, sir.
looking away, going through here. Okay. And Eric Hadley, Pismo
Eric
Beach.
Hadley.
Which I think-
Congratulations, Eric.
Is Eric on? I thought Eric is actually
he is on.
Yeah, hopefully he's still on. So Eric, all right, let's queue up your top threes. Top three issues we are in now. All right, where is Okay,
I found
let's
him.
get to You found him? Okay,
Can I
you
do
want to
number 3?
Yeah, you do number 3.
So some people like sent very elaborate descriptions of stuff, which I love. Some people just gave the straight up dope. So we got the straight dope from Eric.
Love it.
And his number 3 issue was Werewolf by Night, issue 15. I don't know what that was, actually. That's not Taboo.
No.
What is 15? Totally blanking now.
Yeah, I'm blanking
I
too.
thought I had these all in my mind.
I thought
Somebody's
I
gotta
did
help
too.
me.
Eric, what was 15?
Yeah, Eric, tell us what was 15. Why'd you love it? Since you're here.
So yeah, while he's getting that already, I can go ahead with mine if you want.
So Topaz was 13, right?
Yeah, Topaz
Taboo?
is 13. Topaz is 15 is a weird one, I think. I know. Hold up,
Totally
need to
blanking.
remind myself. Yes, Eric, you need to remind yourself. All right, I'm gonna go with
go
my
ahead.
I'm gonna go with my third.
Sure.
So my third. Moonlight. Of course, it's it's the Dracula crossover. Thank you, Michelle.
Oh, that's right, because it's Tomb of Dracula 18.
Yeah, it's Tomb of
Werewolf by
Dracula.
Night 15.
I know.
I'm
I get
sorry.
those
You're-
mixed up too. I always think 18 is Werewolf by Night.
Yeah,
Michelle, this is
I
why
did the
we
same
love
thing.
you, and this
Yep.
is why you are a key player in our lives and this podcast. Yeah. So yeah, the crossover with Dracula. Holy shit! Like we love that. We think that's when. We think that's when Jack and Topaz went from just friends to going steady. Is our theory on that train in Transylvania? So
It's not a theory.
Yeah, it's not a theory. No, we know what we're talking about. We are the experts.
Yes.
So, yeah, and you're right, Michelle. It's such a great string of issues. Okay, and we'll be talking about that one a lot. I think that one comes up a lot in a lot of other people's stuff. So my third favorite issue, this is a little bit of a weird pick, but I'll explain myself, is Creatures on the Loose 34. So that is the nearly the comics debut of George Perez. That was the issue that we went through with Brian from Marvel by the Month. It has so many cool things. Aside from a werewolf, is it that one where he's riding the motorcycle, or is it that one in 35? I think that might be in 35.
I think it's in 35.
I think it's the beginning.
End of 34, beginning of 35 is
Yes.
when it happens.
Okay, so in that issue, aside from it being George Perez's like second or third appearance, his first real big issue was Creatures on the Loose 34. It has our favorite hippie swingers, Joel and Mary, has a Peg Leg Hillbilly, cloned
Goddamn right.
Hitler, a mountain base playset. Just a killer issue. Like, okay, so I make buttons out of old like beat up comics,
Not
and
the child buttons.
like
Actual
like
buttons.
yeah, actual buttons, not the child. And I bought like a beat up copy of Creatures on the Loose 34, and I'm like, I'm gonna make buttons out of this. So, yeah, totally. I don't care. Like it's like a good minus. There's tears in it. It's been totally read, like really well loved. And I couldn't do it. And I love destroying comics. Like I love it. But I couldn't do it because I wanted this issue. I wanted a well-loved issue that I could read myself, and I got into it so much. And that's why we don't have Man-Wolf buttons, because I couldn't bring myself to cut up Creatures on the Loose 34, and that's why it's my third pick.
That's nice.
No,
Do you want to hear mine?
I do.
It's Werewolf by Night number 18. And
Oh.
so this is in the midst of my stuff that I love so much. The cover had Coco Werewolf and Jack Werewolf fighting on the top of a building with a blonde that was supposed to be Lissa, maybe. But here's the synopsis, just a real quick thing. Hackett's questioning Jack is interrupted by Mob Mayhem. She knocks Hackett out. They start fighting, and then they break through Coker's wall, interrupting his meditation, which makes him turn into a werewolf. So it was just one of those, like, so much was going on in this series right here. And then he finds that the committee's ransom note because Mom Mayhem has kidnapped Alyssa and taken her to Baron Thunder's castle.
Yeah.
So it was just a really when the snowball of the Hackett Coker, what was the name of the guy that had the remember in the Werewolves on the Moon, the guy that had the chest that was like
Oh yeah.
it had the Maldicitos de whatever, like the curses of the something in it in some book, and it had the rings. And there was multiple rings. And
I
that's
can't
where Lou
remember
Hackett found that ring, was in that guy's chest. Anyway,
That's right.
just all that silly weirdness of like Saturday morning bullshit of like, there's a werewolf ring.
Yeah.
I guess my recurring theme will be werewolf ring.
Werewolf ring. Yeah.
Whatever that is, I fucking love it.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yes,
so,
Mark, Peg Leg Hillbilly is he's a very common in your area. I'm sorry to hear that. Peg Leg Hillbilly bubbled up a lot on my list of like, I mean, some people liked, I'm not going to, I don't want to bite on people's stuff yet. So let's just save it.
No, but I did. But you're right. I did love that. Yeah, he did show up quite a bit.
Yep.
So okay. So you want to do Eric's
Yes.
next one?
Yes. Which is, are we on 2 or?
We're on 2.
Yeah. Werewolf by Night issue 40, which is a great one. It's one of the last great ones in my opinion.
Yeah.
This is when the Raymond Coker storyline is ramping up, down when he asks them to come to, not Haiti. Where's he?
I thought it was Haiti. I thought it was Haiti.
Okay. I thought he was like not where you would expect him to actually go.
Oh yeah, you're probably right. We're probably being assholes about that. I can't remember exactly.
But this is called Souls in Darkness. It has that beautiful cover where we have like a 3-piece, like a Nirvana poster, but it's the werewolf Topaz and Brother Voodoo.
What a
and
great
above them,
cover.
floating in the background on ectoplasm, is Dr. Glitter Knight flying squirreling.
Flying squirrel.
Great fucking issue. You got Daniel Drum, you got Brother Voodoo, Glitter Knight, Coker, Topaz, the three who are all this stuff is rolling up here, climaxing, I think.
Yeah.
It's either this one or the next one. No, it's this one. This is the climax of the
Yeah,
story.
this is the climax of the story.
Oh yeah, this is a great fucking issue. You kidding me?
Yeah, no, it's totally great. Okay, so no surprise, something that made my top 3 issues. My number 2 issue was Werewolf by Night 9, which is the start of the Committee Sarnak Tatterdemalion. It's Tom Sutton's art was just so incredible, and it really was a good substitute for Plug. Like I didn't think that Plug taking a break that I would enjoy that, but I did.
Yeah.
Like Tom Sutton's art was, I mean, he's right up there with Plug, but they're so different. And I loved his take. It has an amazing transformation. Like I said, it has the committee, it has Sarnak, it has Tatterdemalion, just super badass. So that's why it made my number 2. What about you, Matt?
So my number 2 issue is not a surprise, the Giant Size Werewolf by Night number 4, because of the aforementioned Father of All Worlds thing.
I'm so glad, because I'm so glad you gave those issues love, because I don't know if anybody else did. I think you're alone on that one, even though I totally appreciate it and I love it.
I just want to say I felt like Giant Size Werewolf by Night was largely disappointing, but
Yes.
that backup for me really was super satisfying. And again, we mentioned this on the episode, but like, I think we split that up into 2 different episodes, and came back and said, Brad was like not into it, and then like I was thinking about it, I'm like, no, this actually rules. I want to talk about it. So
Yeah, we loved it once
if
we
you
went
listen to
through
that
it.
episode,
Yeah.
I mean, if you think we gush and are overly effusive in our love for this stuff, listen to that one. There's a new level of love.
Yeah, for sure.
I think I even made an animated. I put like a story in where I made the werewolf like hanging above or it's like Buck and Lissa, or Buck and somebody hanging Clary hanging above a pit of this like tentacled Lovecraftian elder god, and then like some henchmen fall into it, and I use the Wilhelm scream.
Yep. No,
Yeah.
that was super badass.
That's love for me.
Yeah, that is love. Okay, so I think that Eric's final top issue was Werewolf by Night 38. And yeah, that is Okay, yeah, that's the beginning of the. Well, that was the one where it was the father that was like hiding out with his daughter, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, the cabin story.
yeah, the cabin story. Which,
That's a good fucking one and done.
That's a really good one and done.
That's
I mean,
a
that's
great fucking issue.
Yeah, I'm so glad that you chose that one, so we can at least talk about it. Oh yeah, that's so good. And you're right. That's the first appearance of the three that are all.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, great call, man.
Good call, man.
Yeah, very good call.
That's one I forget often. And
Me too.
I remember like reading it and really digging it, and we recorded the episode, and we're like, "Holy shit, this fucking ruled!" And then I feel like I walk away from it and I forget again, unfairly.
Totally unfairly,
So-
because yeah, that was an amazing issue. Really, really good call.
Yeah, good call there. What about you?
Oh, this is
We're
our
gonna
number. This is our number one. Okay. Okay. So again, I'm kind of repeating myself a little bit, but I'm going to go Werewolf by Night, issue 13. Aside from the fact that it's the first appearance of Topaz, it's peak Colden House. It has Sam, Clary, Coker. We go to Mallet Studios, where Jack gets hired to do stunt work by Brad Wrangle. And that put it over the edge for me, just remembering Brad Wrangle.
I remember I said dangle.
Yeah, you did say dangle. It also has Taboo, Algon, amazing art by Mike
Algon,
Plug.
thank you.
And it's a tremendous issue, and I unashamedly put it at the top of my favorite issues.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
So mine is issue 37, and it's totally biased because it's the first one I bought, if you recall. So I've talked about this one a lot.
You
It's
have.
that cover that has Brother Voodoo's spirit like jumping through a window, I think, in a cabin and attacking Jack. And all this is where these Zuvembis are because they couldn't use the word zombies yet.
That's right.
So this is the full-on story of where Coker brings him down to help solve this family problem. Glitter Knight's involved. What was that? 36, 37, 38? No, 37, 38, 39, 40, I think, was that story. It was a long one.
Yeah, it was a long one. 40 was
that one ruled.
the fun finale. Yeah. No, that is great. I knew you would pick that one. I mean, I know you well enough
Yeah.
that you're going to have to go, and I totally understand. I mean, if that's your first issue that you remember, and yeah, so good.
Yeah. Well, that's 3 down.
Yeah. So let's talk about some of the other things. Other people, a lot of people voted, and it's weird that it's not on there for us. I think it would definitely get an honorable mention for both Matt and I. Is Marvel Premiere 45 and 46, just the conclusion of Otherworld. I felt bad not having that on my top 3, but
I did too.
It was hovering around all 1, 2, and 3 because it's one of the greatest issues. I mean, it is the greatest Man-Wolf issue, and that Otherworld story. I mean, we had Joe Keating on for that, which is another great thing that happened. Joe Keating, one of my favorite comic writers of all time, decided to come on our show and talk about a comic that he hadn't read and realized that it was one of the greatest comics ever. And so that was incredible to have him come on and share that with us. And we all discovered how much we loved fucking Star God.
Well, I feel weird about not having Marvel Premiere or Marvel Spotlight 3 and 4, or there's stuff where it's like these stories are epically huge to me, and I didn't choose them for again. Tomorrow, if I made this list, to be a different list.
It would. It would. I mean,
so-
these are they're not arbitrary, but they are fluid. And top threes. That's why Matt, you and I have always talked about it's stupid when someone asks you what's your favorite Beatles album, because I mean you can make a decision right then, but it's really what you're into that year, what you just have explored even further or noticed different things about. So favorites, if you're not a completely boring like cardboard person, your favorites are fluid and they change, and so ours do as well.
I thought you were gonna say that it's the Yellow Submarine soundtrack, but okay.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, let's talk about some of the other folks' choices for issues. Werewolf by Night number 32, 33 came up a lot. The introduction of Moon Knight, a lot of people were fans of that.
A lot of people.
Like you said, a lot of people love Marvel Premiere 45, the Star God. What do you even call that? Like Epiphany or You know what I mean? Like when he
Yeah.
blossoms and he gets this costume. I mean, that is such a.
Oh my god.
I mean, if this was a Hawkwind album, like that's where the
Yeah.
screaming fucking like goosebump solo part would come in, where it's like just raging.
Masters of the
climax
Universe.
musically.
That's the song that goes behind it. Yeah, and just to go on that note a little bit, one other thing that hovered around my moments that I was kind of sad that I didn't put in my moments was when was my favorite moment where Stargod is on the asteroid in the Pearl and makes and turns the asteroid planet into a radio by mining copper with his little claws and getting the
acid pools.
getting the alkaline
Alkaline
pools and stuff. So yeah, I mean there's so many good moments. It's really really hard to choose. But I did notice some people did put those issues on their favorites too. She-Hulk 13 and 14, which I absolutely love.
Yeah, I also see David chose Werewolf by Night number 18 as a favorite issue.
Yeah,
Good taste.
that's right.
A lot of people enjoyed also. People called out like the Marvel Spotlight, the Darkhold saga, what people called it, which I get. There was some love for the Children of the Beast of the Marvel Comics Presents stuff we did this season.
For sure.
Some people dug that. Multiple people said they loved him in the Hulk this season as well. Yeah, a lot of love for that stuff, and a lot of love for that issue, the Buck getting mauled issue, which was 31, I think.
Yeah, 31.
That came up a lot
Isn't that
in
interesting?
different categories.
Yeah, in different categories. I would almost think that that's one of the things, aside from the Star God coming into his power. Yeah, Buck getting mauled in the snow really resonated with people, and it made me. I think it helped validate my choices because it resonated so much for me, and I know it did for you. But yeah, it's just such a cool moment, and I'm glad that people really recognize that issue.
Yeah, I mean, we had made jokes throughout the entire run that Jack wasn't really dangerous, and he wasn't powerful, and he wasn't a threat. And I love that Mensch and Perlin came in and said, "No, he is.
He is.
He's just been really lucky up till now."
Yeah, and he
I mean,
nearly
that changed
kills
Buck
his best
for
friend.
years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, so cool. Well, should we move on? This is our last category.
Final category.
We're gonna pull a name from this. I have to show it again. This amazing bucket. And okay, this is for the last.
So far, there's only one international shipping job too, so this is super easy.
Okay.
Kolkata.
Oh, Jason Feinstone from Brooklyn.
Jason, new pack member.
New pack member, new friend of ours that helped out on the test run. Jason, we are proud to show you and send you, signed Werewolf by Night poster by Michael Giacchino.
Yes, thank you so much. Much appreciated. Cool. So you want to start with his number 3?
Yeah, let me find him on the thing here.
I'm thanks to everyone who voted, by the way. I wish we could give you all posters because you're all super fans who are awesome people. But
Yeah.
I don't want to ask Michael to do that many posters.
Okay, so let's see.
This
Jason
one comes
didn't
up a
give,
lot.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we're doing storylines now.
Yes, sir.
Yes. So the first one he said Transylvanian, which is the Dracula Werewolf by Night crossover, which everyone loves, and it rightly gets a ton of love because it is awesome.
It's Cohen and yeah, I mean you get Cohen, you get Plug. No, it's not Plug. It is Plug. Does he step in for issue 15?
Yeah,
He's still there.
I think he's still there.
He leaves after this, right?
Yeah, his.
No, does he do the Quasimodo?
I don't think so.
So this is his last issue.
I think it might be right around his last issue, but
Okay.
yeah.
Great fucking stuff, man. I mean, obviously, if you're a monster fan, seeing Dracula fight the Wolfman is what you want, right?
Oh yeah, I mean it's beloved. Everyone loves it. So yeah, that's a super great pick.
Yeah.
Okay, so
wanna go next?
Yeah, I'll go next. So my number 3 storyline is what I call the Glitter Knight saga. I mean, I guess with this, I'm talking kind of OG Glitter Knight from Werewolf by Night 27, 28, and 29. So
Oh, I know what you mean.
I know you know what I mean. But it's so stealing Topaz's soul, putting in a giant black egg, the giant tentacled monster that came from that, which I had kind of forgotten about. I reread those issues, and that's on the cover, I think, of 27, if I'm correct.
Yeah.
His weird like bee bat minions that they had to fight. It's just really pulpy and really dumb, but in a super fun way. Yeah. Okay, thank you, Glenn. Yeah, Plug did draw
Oh, thanks, Glenn. Yeah, Plug did draw that.
Yeah.
That was his farewell, I think.
I think that was his farewell, if I'm correct.
Okay.
But yeah, Glitter Knight Saga. I don't know. I had to put him in there somewhere. I don't think he showed up in any of my other top threes. So yes, the spaghetti monster. Totally right. That thing is great. So yeah, that's my number.
Oh, the
3
soul
storyline.
the soul whatever that fuck.
Soul
yeah,
Eater,
that cover
or yeah.
fucking rules.
Oh, that's cover's so cool. Yeah. So all right, Matt, what's your number 3 storyline?
My number 3 storyline is the Belric Marcosa saga.
Totally solid pick. It is great. We've gushed
I'm
about
elevated. I'm evolved. I'm advanced. So a lot of people say that's my favorite one. Like, yeah, that's cool.
it. No, it's my second. Yeah.
Well, I love Sergeant Pepper's.
Yeah.
It's all right. So we back to.
Yeah, let's go back
Jason?
and read Jason's second.
So his second favorite was Carnival of Fear, which was 2 issues, I believe.
Yep.
And that was a great one. That was when Len Wein took over, right? Those are
Len Wein wrote those issues, and if you read I think it was an interview with Heather Quinn, the co-writer of the Werewolf by Night special. She said that those were the big influence on her. Well, Michael said it too, I guess, when we talked to him an hour ago. Yeah, that was a huge influence. Pretty much the only issues that influenced the Werewolf by Night Disney Plus special.
That's pretty fucking rad.
Yeah, it's super rad. It is a great storyline.
It's hard not to picture Jim Rash playing him now because
Right.
you guys said this earlier. But yeah, I feel like I hated him as a kid. Everyone hated him universally online for a long time, and I feel like rereading this for this series, I kind of had a new respect for him as a villain. Particularly when you know that he's part of a cosmic thing that's going on that's much bigger than Earth. Like,
Yeah.
it explains some of his obtuseness and his stupidness and his whatever. It's like, no, he's not from here, dude. Like,
Yeah, no.
He doesn't understand anything. His sister is a snake woman.
Yes.
You know,
His
spiritual
Elliot.
cosmic
Yeah.
sister.
So this is your number 2 pick, is Glitter Knight.
Mine?
Yeah.
Oh no, I'm sorry. I thought it was sorry. Mine's Star God.
Oh, okay, great. Yeah, of course.
No, I thought you were talking about. Sorry. I was just kind of ranting, I guess.
Oh, okay, gotcha. I thought we were still talking about Carnival of Fear, but no, you were. Yeah, you're free associating, man. Just riff.
Yes, I am.
Riff.
It's jazz. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's 8/17th time.
Yeah. So okay, so your second one is
The Star God Saga.
yeah, Star God Saga. Okay, yeah. I mean, how can anyone argue that? It's one of the most epic sagas in comics. And again, total props to David Anthony Kraft, who we lost to COVID. I think like a year, maybe just over a year ago.
Yeah. And I like that he got so much love throughout every category in this thing.
Damn
the
right,
Star God
man.
bit, particularly. You know, as a science werewolf, it was hit and miss. There's interesting things, like you said, like the hate monger storyline and this, that, and the other. But like when Kraft applied his high school stoner journals to this thing, is when it really became unique and flew, in my opinion.
Absolutely. So, okay, my second pick for storylines is the most recent one in my entire list, which is Jack and Moon Knight versus Belial and the Left Hand Path. So I loved that one so much. I loved that, Matt, that you and I kind of took that story and ran with it to explain like the problematic lost period of Jack Russell to where we were like, oh my God, no, he was just running throughout Europe, just being chased after by Satanists. And then that's why. And then Topaz fits into
we
there.
made it silly putty to
We
explain
did.
holes and everything.
But no, I love it. I mean, Sienkiewicz doing the werewolf. I know people have problems with that, but oh my God, no, I don't give a shit. I love it.
Yeah, and I wanted to mention that the Moon Knight 29 and 30 came up a lot in people's favorite
Yeah,
issues.
people
I
loved
neglected
it.
to mention that one. So
Yeah, no.
my failure there.
Okay, so yeah,
Jason's favorite storyline was Marcosa House, which
Classic.
again, not uncommon. It came up enough to where I started color coding when people mentioned Belric Marcosa or the Marcosa House saga.
you did, yeah.
So yeah, no surprises there.
Yeah, so do you want me to go with my number one?
Yeah, I think you should.
Okay. Well, I put as mine, which is pretty funny. I mean, storylines, I'm going with Manwolf. I'm going with the other world. Just the
Nice.
entire other world. We'll use this word one more time, Matt. I'm sorry we're using it a lot. Saga.
Don't be
And,
sorry.
yeah. I mean, what can you say? I mean, Jesus. I mean, one thing that we haven't touched on that I love about that is, I mean, you touched on it a little bit, but yeah, this story started in the mind of teenage David Anthony Kraft, and he never let it go. It shows up in every single thing he does, every storyline, whether it's Defenders, She-Hulk, whatever. He's like, nope, I'm throwing Otherworld in there because I came up with it when I was 16, and I love it, and I will love it to my dying day. And yeah, I just, for that alone, it's just the passion that he put into it. It is the very definition of epic. It's charming. It's a blast to read. So that's why it's my number one.
It truly is, and I wish it got more love.
Me too.
I know that we didn't change the name of the show when we changed the subject in season 2, but I still feel like he doesn't get the love that he deserves.
Yeah,
Across the board. And
I agree.
once it went cosmic and got weird was when I was absolutely in love with it. I mean, we were just kind of like, you know,
It's fine.
It was fine the first 3 or 4 episodes. And then once Kraft got to do some stuff like, you know, I want to address Easy Rider and racism in Georgia, like where I'm my home state. Like, okay, now something's happening. Somebody's cooking in the kitchen. And then, you know, once he injected himself into the proceedings a bit, it got interesting. And then once he was like, what I think Creatures on the Loose 37 is the one where you see that the fucking stone has become embedded in his fucking central nervous system and is part of him now. Like one of the greatest goddamn revelations ever in my fucking reading of comics. I mean, just that concept, you know, that came up with like the Venom and the symbiote suits and stuff like later, like this thing that bonds with you and makes you stronger, but is also a detriment and is also taking away your soul or your individuality. Like fucking A, man, that's brilliant. He used to do that in the mid-70s.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, we thought Manwolf was okay until Kraft took over, and then, you know, with Perez drawing the majority of the Kraft issues, holy shit, man.
Yeah.
Like, that was a revelation.
Yeah, I mean the consolation prize was Simon Stroud screaming at people.
That's right.
So like when John wasn't doing interesting things, Simon Stroud was running through New York on foot, apparently through all 5 boroughs, just screaming and taking people's cars and
Throwing
boats.
gas grenades from his belt. Yeah.
From his belt. And you know, injecting Craven in the proceedings was a cool choice. Like, just like, okay, so this guy hunts wild animals. This guy's a science werewolf. It makes sense he'd hunt him. And then to kind of spin it out, Kraft again, working backwards and saying, what if Harrison Turk hired him? Like, so, I mean, once you realize after the fact, like, oh my God, he was the usurper of the throne in this cosmos, and he was following his energy fucking signature to this Earth, and like saying, oh my God, you know, and this is his girlfriend. Now you need to do that. Like, it's just beautiful.
Yeah, fucking love it.
So my number one,
Here we go.
not a surprise here, is the Coker Hackett storyline that goes through 18 through like 22, whatever that is. That whole the werewolf ring saga is what I call the whole thing, or whatever. That's my favorite storyline of all time, and I thought it would change over like rereading it, but it doesn't. It actually makes it more entrenched in my heart. So
No, I would be disappointed if you hadn't chose that. I'm going to show to the camera my partner in basically every single episode that we have recorded is my. Oh, I know she's so heavy. I can't hold her like that. That's my cat, Sweet Pea.
Your wrists.
And she asks to sit next to me when I start setting up the podcasting equipment. She has sat next to me for literally every single episode, Matt, that we have ever recorded.
So she's an executive producer.
She's an executive producer. She's my big lady. She is. She's here with me, and she's been off camera this entire time and deserved a little star turn. So there it is. But yeah,
awesome.
Matt, I would have been really disappointed if you hadn't chose that as your number one storyline, the Hackett Coker saga. So yeah.
Can I read a couple? Are we? Do you want to do honorable mentions? I guess, or no?
If you want, I don't know. Let's read the comments at the bottom. I thought that was really cool. Why don't you start doing that?
Cool. So yeah, some people sent some nice comments, and like I said, some people just sent in the raw stuff. Joseph Barr from Cincinnati sent in a ballot and said, well, if I didn't make it in time for the ballot cutoff, no worries. Just wanted to express my thanks for the best comics podcast around. I did a complete reread of WBN with you guys, and so great. Thanks so much. So great. Thanks so much. Can't wait for Bronze Age Monsters with you all the way. We really appreciate that, Joseph. Thank you for voting. Our friend Tim, the author from, I think Bristol. Is he from Bristol?
I think he's from Bristol.
The UK. So he's 8 hours ahead of us, so he's obviously not listening right now because it's like 4 a.m. there. He said, I'm sad that you guys are leaving the world of werewolves. Hopefully we can still get some more werewolf love from time to time. I'm super excited for Son of Satan, though. Much love, Tim. Thank you, Tim. He's been a guest on multiple times, and he's amazing.
Yeah, he was also one of our really early guests. I think our first 3 guests, it was like Brad,
Taboo.
Tim, Taboo, oddly from the Black Eyed Peas. And that was another weird thing.
Ben Jackendoff.
Yeah, and Ben, who was so cool. Like we love Ben. And of course, honestly, Taboo was like the nicest guy. It made me.
Oh God.
Yeah, he was so nice, and yeah. So, but yeah, we love Tim. Tim was a very early fan. He contacted us very early on. Like there's just a few people that just kind of jumped on, which I guess our earliest fans were Brad, Michael Giacchino, and Tim, which is pretty awesome.
And I love Tim. I love his werewolf novels. If you have not read them, Tim Tucker, he has a series of books called the Corniche Chronicles that are fucking amazing.
Yep.
I can't recommend them enough. So good. Our friend Ben, which is an old friend of mine, new friend of yours, essentially, said, congrats on 3 years of successful podcasting and all you've achieved. I hope the next stage of your podcasting career continues to go well. I think he had an AI bot write that or something.
Oh, nice, Ben. That's so personalized.
Yeah. Michelle, who is online right now, said, honorable mention and a slight variation of a villain for both WBN and Manwolf, the Moon. Shout out to Jackson Overstreet for the original answer last season. So I did remember that. That was hilarious. That was
so great. Yeah, no, that was awesome. And Michelle, we love you. We've had you on multiple times. Our audience loves you. Your episodes are always very popular. People love it when you come on. People love what you have to say about comics. They love your story. And getting to know you and becoming friends with you has definitely been one of the highlights of doing this show. So we love you.
Brink Bunny also sent a note in. Brink's an amazing artist. Please check them out online. Thanks for an amazing show, guys. It's been a fun ride. I'm bummed we're out of Jack Werewolf content, but at the same time, I'm looking forward to getting into some stuff I haven't read before. Good luck with BAM. Can't wait to listen. Thank you, Brink.
Yeah, we have
a couple full letters, too. Are you into that?
Yeah, definitely. I'd love it.
Okay. Let me pull some up. Why don't you say something clever while I pull those up?
Well, I'll answer a question. I think it's Russ from Tomes of Evil is asking, I don't know if this has been asked point blank, but is Bronze Age Monsters strictly Marvel? And, Russ, I think what we have planned so far is pretty Marvel-centric, but the thing about becoming Bronze Age Monsters is that, we want to cover everything. We might cover DC stuff. We might cover Skywald stuff. We might, I think that's... We wanted that freedom, but funny enough, in planning the next kind of couple of seasons, it's mostly Marvel.
Yes. So I would say
Oh, Matt,
Yo,
got your. We got the.
is Ben? Did I do
Yeah.
something bad?
Yeah, Ben. Likely story. But if Amy did, yeah. That's pretty funny. Yeah, Russ, right. I was really bummed. I mean, I hope Jackson, are you on here? Like it was strange. We didn't get a ballot from you. And Jackson T. Overstreet is one of our greatest listeners,
Star
a
God.
friend of the show, a star god. And yeah, it's that was, I don't know, it was a bummer. Maybe he's out, maybe he's got something going on, but Jackson T. Overstreet, we love you. Michael made a very specific point of being like, that guy's name is so rad. He is the greatest name. I love that my name is being read near his. And so, he loved it. So,
Apparently my mic is clicking again.
no, you're better now.
Oh,
Yeah. Okay. Well, it didn't happen until the 2 hour and 14 minute mark. So that was pretty good.
okay.
Yeah. Aliens indeed.
So we got a nice letter from Glenn, who I believe is in the room right now. But
Yeah.
I asked if I could share this, so I'm not just doing this out of school here. Jacob and Matt, I've been having a blast listening to your WM podcast. Unfortunately, I only discovered it in the last few months, so I've been going back and playing catch up. Coincidentally, I was already making my way through WBN Omnibus when I ran across the show. I'd been a huge Werewolf by Night fan as a kid. I had read the series as it came out. I think the Atlas issue was the first one I bought, and then picked up the older issues at used bookstores and garage sales, and owned pretty much everything in the omnibus. But I am one of many who fell victim to their parents' lack of understanding or caring about the value, monetarily and otherwise, of their children's comic book collections when they were left behind upon flying the nest. I've been skipping forward to be current with you at the tail end here with the Marvel Comics Presents and Doctor Strange issues. I'm looking forward to your new show, Bronze Age Monsters, and have a copy of the classic Son of Satan collection coming my way soon. Which brings me to my ballot. So we had some stuff there, but it was just nice to hear from someone about some feelings. I like the feelings.
Hey, we love
Eric,
feelings.
Eric Hadley, who's also here, by the way, sent a nice note too. Gentlemen, I would just like to express my sincere, heartfelt thanks for what you two have created with this podcast. You came along in a time where the world seemed to be spinning out of control at an increasingly sporadic rate, between me starting a new job after 10 years at my previous workplace and the terrifying social climate brought on by the Trump presidency coupled with the pandemic. You two were a blessed sanctuary in this storm that gave me an escape when I needed it the most. I believe that I came across your show shortly after your first episode while I was searching for Werewolf the Apocalypse actual play podcasts, and could not believe that a podcast had been created for my favorite non-mainstream Marvel character. Never in my wildest dreams did I think that anyone would ever pay this character the level of attention and respect that you two have, and yet here we are almost 3 years later with several years worth of rich comic history explored in an audio format. Between the story, commentary, and media history tie-in trivia, I feel like I've taken a master's class on this character that I hold so dear. Your show gave me a whole new perspective on the character as you dove into the history and dynamics of the Marvel bullpen that birthed each issue. You guys deserve to be extremely proud of what you've created here. Not only have you crafted this amazing and informative podcast, but you've also created this absolutely rad community with a Discord channel that is full of people that I can truly say I would love to meet in person. Podcast fam meetup in Oregon, when? Thanks again from the bottom of my heart for everything you guys do. I know that I'm not the only one who feels that their last few years have been enriched with everything you guys have crafted. Cheers to the next adventure with Bronze Age Monsters, and stay furry, friends. Regards, Eric Hadley. Okay to print, by the way. Thank you, Eric. That was so sweet.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, I feel the same way. Like it was funny. I mean, yeah, everyone on our Discord, everyone who we've been, messaging with, and everyone who's come forward and said how much they love the show. It's just been so cool, and so many of those people have become our friends. And yeah, I thought of the same thing. It was funny, like there's the giant like Mega Millions. It's at like $1 billion or something, and I did the thing like, oh, what would I do if I won that? And before like send all my cousins' kids to college, I went, No, fly everybody from all over the world to Portland, and we all have a giant Werewolf by Night con and rent out like the Jupiter Hotel, and all of us be in
Oh
there.
God,
So
that'd be so fun.
So yeah, so that is my lottery winning dream, is to have everyone, like, you know, Letty from Brazil and Tim and MJ
Ed
from
McKay.
England and yeah, everybody. So yeah, and Michelle and everyone. And so yeah, I would love that. It made me, I don't know, the whole everyone, and I don't, Matt and I both like catch ourselves when we start saying fans, because it doesn't feel like fans, it feels like family, and it feels like friends, and
Yeah.
that's how it is. So yeah.
Yeah, and if you haven't joined us on Discord yet, we'd love you to. I said before that I was a member of a comics podcast Discord, like, or not Discord, message board back in the late aughts, and it's where I met so many people that are here that are friends of mine in real life, like Jason Farrell, and I mean, like Rob Haferman. I mean, there's so Andrew Shaw. I'm gonna stop because I'll forget people. Like, I met so many people who turned me on to so much art through that, and I really miss that being around. So I made the Discord server, and it's so great having you guys on there. And like, again, I've said this several times in the show, but like there's no moderators. I mean, Jacob's a moderator, Ben M's a moderator because I've known them the longest in real life. But like, no one needs to be put in timeout. No one needs to be told stop saying racist shit. Like no one, like
Nope.
Everyone's just like, I love this, and someone's like, I didn't really do it for me. I mean, we're having a spirited discussion right now with Tim Tucker and a bunch of other folks on AI. Tim being the person who's kind of saying there's value in this thing. I can see why it's valuable, and you know, it's not a threat for artists and blah blah. And there's a bunch of people who make art, like Brink Bunny and
Rob Haferman
and other folks are on there like saying like, I hear you, but there's also artists who have had their work stolen, fed into a robot, and are now being just having their work spit out to fill in the need for an artist. Like, so there's a spirited discussion, but no one has been a dick to anyone.
Nope. Everyone is so cool.
I think it's because we're all older. I'm not gonna say old, but like older. But like, yeah, I've never been on a non-moderated forum before that was just people who love art and love movies, love whatever. Like, it's not a secret that I hate wrestling and the entire culture around it, but some of my closest friends fucking love it, and it enriches their life so much. I'm like, this makes you happy. I don't get it, but
Yeah.
I'm going to dig you, but I'm going to do a winky face and a little nudge thing. But, you know, we're all buddies,
Yeah.
man.
Glenn, you're right. I feel like Discord, I'd never used it before until the Werewolf by Night Discord. And yeah, it is. It's like old school message boards.
It is.
It's so cool.
I missed it so much. Yeah, Jason, 100%. Like, I think it's easy to talk about the evils of social media, and it's easy to forget how many people feel included, how many people find community, how many people find friends. I love that I've met you, Jason. Like, what, fucking 2009 or something like that? Like,
Yeah.
we've been friends this long. We started a podcast. My first podcast was with Jason Farrell, the Bookhouse Boys. It was a book club.
Hey, Michael wants in.
Does he?
Yeah.
Okay, Michael.
There you are.
First of all, that was like, honest. I got Silverman here too.
Hey,
Hey,
David.
David.
Sorry, no flaming tuba, just drinking.
All right. Well, we are too.
And yourself. Defend yourself.
Good
Yes.
to see you.
We ended up at our friend Dave's house.
There's
Hello.
Dave. Hello.
Hey,
Hi,
Dave.
Dave.
I think you might have
There's
met him.
Andrea.
Did you meet them?
Yes, we met at
Andrea.
Hi, Andrea.
Mwah.
And there's Kate.
Yeah.
Good
Okay.
to see you.
There's Alicia.
Hi.
So we're like totally ruining what you're doing. Just cut us off.
No. We just wrapped up the top threes. We're just kind of doing the lovey stuff.
But
Yeah,
I'm
we're
going to say, I feel like I dropped in on a moment where you guys were talking about how awesome it was to meet each other. And I felt so bad that I was interrupting that. And that was beautiful. It was great.
yeah.
But you're in that group.
Oh, Sealy Dan.
You are in that group. Yeah.
Well,
Sealy Dan.
I feel very lucky to be in that group. I really do. I really do.
Likewise.
And,
yes.
you know,
Very, very honored, and I'm like a fly on the wall here.
Well, David,
best fly.
David, you need to come on for the next season. We're talking about weird monster comics. We're talking about the Son of Satan comics. So you should definitely come on for one of those episodes.
I'd love it. I'd love it. Absolutely. I'm in.
Yeah,
Awesome.
He's not lying either. He'll do it. And if he shows any reticence, I will make him do it.
Yes.
Good. Good.
So lots of people in the audience want to know where you guys got your hats. There's a lot of hat love going on.
Everyone loves the hats.
I have a lot of hats.
We know.
So it's like a whole thing. But
We're both pretty hatty.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's better.
So where are you guys at? What bar are you at now?
Well, we're
They're at somebody's house.
At our
Oh, that's right. You're at, yeah, that's right.
Hello, Dave.
Hello.
That's Dave.
Dave's.
That's
awesome.
Dave. Okay,
Hi,
awesome.
Dave.
Yes.
Do we meet Dave at your house?
You did?
Yes.
Yes. you
Yeah,
did.
we did.
Yeah, I remember
Yeah.
you. Hi.
Awesome.
Hello. How's it
I'm
going?
in my formal wear, so
Yes.
you probably don't recognize me now. But
so underdressed with my cardigan.
That's the great. Now look what they have here, which is like, if anything will bring a tear to my eye.
That was from your.
Oh.
You know, if you, yeah. Well, this is from our Secret Santa. Our Secret Santa. So, anyway, Rankin Bass.
Yeah.
Deep down in my heart. That everything they've ever done is a foundation for everything I want to do. So I don't even know why I'm saying that. That sounds so weird. I'm totally ruining your whole show. You're doing a great job. I just wanted to say hello again. I told everyone that how much fun it was to just hang out just earlier with you guys, and it's nice. Yeah. Anyway,
that was awesome.
No, it was awesome. No, you came in the perfect time because
Yeah, that was a great transition moment.
We're talking about the feels. We're talking about how we loved meeting everybody, and
Yep.
and yeah, so it was. I don't know. We've had such a blast doing this show, and just the fact that we got to meet both of you is completely insane and mind blowing. And
Yep.
David, thank you for answering all of my inane questions about The Simpsons. I really
Yes,
appreciate
David.
it.
I have inane answers for any questions.
Good. No, your answers were quite thoughtful, and I did tell a lot of my friends about them. So yeah, they were.
You should get that printed up in Office Max on a card.
You should.
I'm as surprised as he is that his answers were thoughtful.
Yeah, coherent and everything, which was weird from what I've heard. So yeah.
I know. He's shocked.
But anyway, okay. Love you guys. I'll let
Love you.
Love you too.
Thanks for checking in, brother.
Yes. All right. Talk soon.
All
Take
right,
care.
night, guys.
Good night. Have fun. Be careful. I always say that.
Oh, you do. You're such a square.
Well, I have a teenage daughter now, so
I know.
always like
Oh
to-
man, yeah. Michael just had to prove yet again that he's the coolest guy ever
Yeah.
by popping in again.
I think we're transitioning to giving away a couple fun little things.
Yeah, let's give away a couple fun little things. I still have my champagne bucket full
Okay,
of,
so we have some.
yeah.
Yeah, Michelle, we got to party with those guys. Cannot tell you how much fun that was.
It was the most fun ever.
I didn't have to drive.
I couldn't believe it. Yeah,
So,
we could not believe
My
it. It was so
Herculean
much
intake
fun.
of cocktails was acknowledged and appreciated by a bunch of Los Angelinos.
Yeah, I mean, I had never seen a human being drink as much as Matt had and still be able to function. It was really impressive. So, okay, let's
Okay, so let's start with the socks. So we have these cool Portland-made socks. These are a prize just for somebody who's hanging out right now. Should we do it where you have to be present or no? Is this for anybody?
let's say that you have to be present. Let's just draw numbers.
Let's just get weird.
Okay, let's get weird. Okay, I'm opening up this one. Well, it is Brink. Wasn't Brink here earlier?
Yeah. Brink
yeah.
was here.
Yeah, Brink was here. Okay,
Brink, you just won some socks.
Brink, you won some socks. I know that if we tried to give it to someone else, you would get really angry at us, and we love you, so we don't want to do that. Okay, yeah, Brink got socks.
Socks, Brink. I will take care of Brink. Okay. Cool.
Okay, one more.
So we have this...
Brink is there. Okay, perfect. All right.
Okay. Hey,
Awesome.
Socks. You got socks. They're not made in America, but they were designed by a Portland artist. I don't know what that means. Yeah. So this is like a Stretch Armstrong, but it's a werewolf.
Okay. Let's see who it is.
Who is this?
Okay, MJ Smith from Brighton, England. You're going to make the call, Matt. We love MJ / some
MJ
British cult.
was,
he is a
did
pack
mention to
member.
us that it was like 5 a.m. there.
Yeah, so I don't know. Kind of feel like that. I'm gonna let you make that call because
But
MJ's great.
We did expand the poster gift to be the entire shit. That's rough.
That's rough. That is rough.
I'm gonna give those to MJ.
Okay, let's do it. Okay, MJ gets the
Okay.
gets the Stretch Armstrong werewolf.
So let me write that down. And then the last gift is a $25 gift certificate to Things from Another World.
Okay, cool. Oh yeah, Michelle. Okay, Michelle seconded that we should give it to him. So okay,
Yeah.
all right, yeah.
Michelle's my moral compass.
Michelle is all of our moral compasses, So, all right, last one for the $25 gift
For the
certificate.
gift certificate.
The UK guys are really winning here. We got Tim
Tim
Tucker
Tucker.
from Brighton, England. How is he going to use that?
That
Let's
sucks
give-
because that's going to be his shipping.
That's going to be his shipping. Okay, Tim, we're going to give you something else because you're a friend and we love you. So, yeah. All right. So should we make it up to Tim and draw
Yeah.
it from someone? Because that's not gonna be helpful. Okay.
Yeah.
Tim, we
Tim's
love you.
expressed interest in virtual handies before, so yeah. Let's do another name.
Okay. All right. I just drew another name. Dakota Bowles.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a local.
Yeah, it's a local. Okay, so he'd be able to use the gift certificate to Things from Another
Yes.
World. Perfect. Okay.
So that is our
All
winner.
right. Write that down so we don't forget.
I lost my pen. Okay.
Oh man, I knew this would go well. I mean, I knew it would be fun. I knew people would tune in, but this went really well.
Oh yeah, it was super fun.
I'm just gonna say that we didn't have too many technical snafus. Everyone was super cool. Goddamn, Michael dropping in for a second time at the end. It doesn't
gold,
get any
man.
cooler than that. Oh man, what the hell?
Oh boy. So yeah, cool. So I'll take care of those and reach out to people and get their gifts sent. This is kind of cool.
It
It's-
does look really cool,
listen.
right? Oh, Dakota's here. All right, awesome. Cool.
Dakota's
Yeah,
here?
you're gonna be getting some. You're gonna be getting a gift certificate.
You got
it.
T-Faw. Yeah, you can buy $25 worth of comics on us.
Letty, you did say everything was going to be great, and you were right.
That's true. She said that.
Yep, she predicted it, and
Yep.
and you were correct.
I need to trust Brazilians more.
Right, all of us do.
I got a terrible rash the first time I trusted one,
Yeah.
and changed everything.
Nope.
All right,
right.
so Jacob, we're not going to do the sweeping up the spotlight thing here, but what are we doing? How do we get out of here?
I don't know. We've expressed our love. What I think you need to do the outro one last time, and then we'll sign off.
Sure, but we need to kind of just do a little bit of business in case folks come across this and are not aware of the fact that we're rebranding. I mean,
Oh,
can you kind
yes,
of do a little
yes.
bit of that preamble.
Yeah,
kind
let's.
of?
I'll do a little bit of that. So,
Okay.
this is the finale of the Werewolf by Night podcast, but never fear, we are rebranding as Bronze Age Monsters, and so that basically means that we are going to be going right back to the 70s, and that's where we're going to stay. That's the Bronze Age of comics. That's the age of comics we love the best. And so we are going to be focusing on monster comics from that time. So the first comic we are going to go through is the Son of Satan run, Damien Hellstrom. And it is a batshit run. It's like our brother Brad Elmore said, it is Saturday morning Satanism. And that's a term that I hope he trademarks because it
Yeah,
is
so
so good. We say it all the time, and yeah, that came straight from Brad Elmore, and so that's what we're gonna do, and we're gonna be going through a bunch of different stuff. We'll be doing longer seasons, shorter seasons. The second thing we're gonna do is a what is that? Bronze Age bingo buffet, Bronze Age buffet, and so we're gonna be doing a bunch of monster comics that had short runs, like the
Shorter
living,
tryout runs that didn't get picked up.
yeah, the Living Mummy, Scarecrow,
Golem.
Golem, exactly. So, yeah, so this'll, so it's gonna be a blast. We're gonna be coming back probably around the first week of February, and yeah, it's gonna be great.
Yeah, I'm super excited. Thank you everyone so much for supporting the show. In the meantime, between the rebranding switch off, there might be some kind of weirdness where I might email you and say, hey, I can't change the name of the Patreon group. So I have to start a new one, or
We'll
I
see.
can't do this or that. We'll figure it out. But yeah, I'm super excited. And I can't wait to hear the new music from you, Jacob.
Okay, I'll send you the song and see if we can loop what I have, and I have plans. So
Cool.
I wanted to rope you in on that. So I'm glad you're up for it.
Yeah, just keep the swears down to a minimum.
Okay, I'll try. That's hard.
Cool. So yeah, I guess I feel like there's so much to say. I don't know where to start. So I just kind of want to skip it. Is that weird?
No, you don't have to. Yeah. Oh, you want to skip the? Wait. What do you want to skip?
I don't know what to say. Like I feel like I have so much to say.
Yeah.
That I don't know. There's lots of comments coming in though.
Yeah. Let's read some of the comments. Yeah, Jason. Again, it was great meeting you, and I'm so glad you came along for the ride and became a pack brother, and now we're getting a signed poster. And we thought you were great. Instantly connected. So I'm so glad you found the show. I'm so glad all of you found the show. Like, my God. Again, I mean, we've said this multiple times, but just these relationships have just been the coolest thing ever.
Yeah.
I did not value, I don't know, I didn't denigrate it, but I didn't value online or parasocial relationships before the pandemic. And now I understand. I get it now. And I understand now that I am in a small Southern Oregon town where we have no friends. This is kind of the most important group of people to me right now. So,
do you have the pack members list handy? Can we do a final?
Let's do a
shout out
final
to those
one.
folks?
I got it right now. So let's add. We'll say Jason first. So I'll have you start with that, and then we'll go down.
Start with Jason.
Yeah, start with Jason.
So our newest pack member is Jason Feinstone from Brooklyn, New York. Thank you so much for joining us. Super appreciate you, and appreciate you helping us out with the fire testing of the show before we did it, and for being here tonight to watch us do this nonsense.
Yeah, it was awesome. And also people like Ryan from Across the Bifrost.
And Tim Tucker, who we mentioned several times, the great author of werewolf novels.
Brian from Marvel by the Month.
Please check out Marvel by the Month. They're fucking gold.
Yeah,
Great
they are
people
gold.
across the board. Blake, last name withheld.
Caleb.
Ben M.
Michelle from Moonlit Comics. Love saying her name every time.
I do too. Rob Haferman. It feels good in your mouth, doesn't it?
It does. Right. You always have to make it weird.
Try.
You do. You always try. All right.
It's good whiskey, man. What do you want?
Okay. You said Rob Haverman. I would go. Russ from Tomes of Evil, another great friend of ours that we love.
Yes, I love Russ. He's so great. And he puts up
great.
with all my shit.
He does
Brad
put up with
Elmore.
all your shit.
He is our fifth Beatle, our original fifth Beatle.
is.
I wish he could be here tonight. He was so bummed he couldn't, but he couldn't.
Yeah, I know that was a bummer, but we love Brad, and yeah, he is. He's our Billy Preston, and we love him. Tony Iupi has also been great.
Mm-hmm. And thank you for being here, Tony. Jared Savedas, awesome person that we met through Jason Farrell.
Yeah, really cool guy. Brink Bunny, who is a wonderful artist and super cool guy that has been really supportive of us, and we love Brink.
Love Brink, and I love Brink's contribution to the AI versus human art conversation on our Discord server. So please jump on there and check out this stuff. It's good fucking shit, man.
It is. So we'll put an updated Discord link into some stuff, maybe some of our posts. So anyone that's not on the Discord, that's listening, that's watching now, please jump on the Discord. You'll love it.
Cool. And Bill from Long Island.
David D.
And MJ, or some British cult. He really wants me to say this when I'm drunk and say some British cunt, but I'm not going to do it.
Don't do
I'm
it.
Too classy.
You're way too classy
See?
for that.
I'm 3 steps ahead of you, bruh.
Yeah. So, okay, but then we get to our barbarian deities, our star god level members.
Yes, sir.
Members like our good pal and brother, Michael Giacchino, who was so amazing to show up twice on our live stream. And so awesome.
I love Michael. I can't say enough good stuff about him. And we were not exaggerating earlier. When we met him in LA, it was literally like we've been friends forever. It was bananas. So It's so cool just to have an ongoing text chat going with Michael Giacchino and you, and where
It's
we just
weird.
pitch ideas to each other.
It's so awesome. Yeah, he's just become one of our best friends, and who would have thunk it? But we love it. I can't imagine my life without him now.
Me neither. And Josh Link, thank you so much for the support. You're amazing, and you're a great member of the community on Discord.
Jackson T. Overstreet, which we missed you tonight, man.
Yeah.
we wish you would have been here. I hope we didn't piss you off somehow.
Yeah, no, Jackson calls in with great voicemails.
He does.
I'm sure just something was going on because
I hope so.
he rules.
He does rule.
Mark Nivens, you also rule. Thank you so much for being around. You contribute. I saw you here tonight, and you're great on the Discord. We love you. Thank you so much for supporting the show and being a Star God.
And then lastly, we have Eric Hadley, who is going to be getting a signed poster.
Yeah.
Which we're very excited you won that, Eric. That was awesome.
Yeah. So, Jacob, this is the time.
This is
This
it.
is where we do it.
This is where we do it. So again, we love you all. This was a great night. I didn't cry. I thought I was going to cry. I came close a couple times because I'm an emotional middle-aged man now, but I held it together.
Yep. We're going to keep our voicemail number the same. It will still be 971-220-5865, 971-220-JUNK. Although Jacob and I will be updating the outgoing message to reflect the Bronze Age Monsters change and have some music to make Michael Giacchino happy. I don't want Michael mad at me.
He's mad at us for the music on that. Yeah. He's just gonna keep yelling at us if we don't. So you better do it fast.
All right. Well, we're getting some great messages from folks here saying good night, and I can't thank you enough, you guys. Thanks for coming on the ride with us, with me and Jacob. Old friends, new. Everybody came together for this thing, and we had a great time, and I love you all, and I can't wait to come back in a month and talk about Son of Satan. So is it time, Jacob? Do I say the final sign off, the final time?
Final
All right.
time.
Well, friends, we can't thank you enough for all you've done for us. We love you. We're here for you. Till we meet again, neath the full moon, furry ones. Here's howling at ya. That's it.
All right, signing off.